to a black neighborhood and start using the N-word.
Right?
I know. I seen that happen. It was on Kentucky Fried Movie. One of the sketches, like the world's most dangerous stuntman, and stuff like that, where he basically did that exactly that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fucking hilarious. No, but here I'm here twice on two different devices with the Lady Columbia.
Hello.
I've been on other streams with her. I think I might have even been on her channel, but she's never been on my channel. So,
I haven't. I'm excited to be here. Congratulations.
And some random geek who's been on my channel exactly once, but has been in streams with me a few more times than that. I think about as many times as Columbia has.
Probably.
So,
I just saw the link and I decided, well, I already seen this movie before, saw it yesterday, so I was like, I'm not doing nothing better. So I walked out the theater and now I'm here on my way home. So again, I'm in Trent while I'm on American Anarchist's stream. But congratulations, American Anarchist, you're over 800, just like Blunk's blogger.
Yep. Actually, funny enough, on my birthday my stream for my 20th birthday, I had the Bronx blogger on. I meant to have Kevin Logan and a few other people on, but it ended up just being me and Bronx blogger. And it was actually kind of funny because this stream had a delayed start because me and Bronx spent like an hour talking before actually starting the stream.
Right.
That could have easily happened here right now as I was reviewing my stories.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I ever got high, which happened on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, Friday was when I finally hit 800, and it was funny because it was all people who were watching the ContraPoints live stream with me and just saw what I was saying.
I think that's how I've been getting some of my new subscribers recently. I'm now over 50 without actually putting up a new video in like a month or so, just because I'm lazy. But yeah, just because I'm been commenting on other people's streams, on other people's live chats, I think I've been getting like new subscribers because of that. But hey, whatever works.
Right? I don't know. I know that recently I've probably been getting new subs because I put up a new video, and I'm just like, I got to do more videos. Sometimes I want to be in people's streams a little bit more, but I'll be at work, I'll be doing something, and I can't quite, be commenting constantly. But I definitely want to get into more streams and talk more shit.
Oh, you're always awesome to talk shit with, Lady Columbia.
Aw, thank you. So are you, dear.
Fucking. I think like half the streams I've been in with you have been like about Game of Thrones, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I could do 9-10 hours straight, just Game of Thrones. Let's talk about it. Book, show, everything.
Yeah, I remember you for a while for some reason I remember your it was either your Facebook or your Twitter had like a reference to it was your Twitter name was a reference to Game of Thrones. Specifically it was like Khaleesi something, I can't remember.
Yeah, all of my everything, I think all of my social media has something Game of Thrones on it. But I changed my Twitter name to Zezaldriza Daria. The Dragon Queen in Valyrian, and one of my titles is Khaleesi Vosi, Queen of Metal. So I'm a huge freak for it.
I still have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones yet, but I don't mind. You guys can spoil the hell out of it. I don't care. I'm sure. I think I'll use Game of Thrones as the experiment of like, okay, I'm going to actually learn everything I can about it and then watch it. But that way, the fun is to see how all those things go and how we get to there and stuff like that. And that'll be the fun of it instead of like discovering it all on my own. Like watching Infinity War, my God, the ending! But I won't spoil that for those who haven't seen it, except for fake spoilers
Don't spoil it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to say don't spoil it because I haven't seen the movie and I really fucking want to.
Oh, it's good.
I need you guys to hurry up and see Infinity War. Oh my God, I need to talk about it.
I need to see Black Panther first.
Oh my God!
I just saw Ragnarok fucking a week ago.
You do need to see that before you see Infinity War, yes. But you also do need to see Black Panther. It's so good. I saw it 3 times. I'm probably going to see it a 4th time if Movie Pass will allow me to.
Right, I've seen it 3 times. I don't know if I'm gonna see it a 4th because I feel like, okay, I've seen it 3 separate times now, but I might. If I get bored enough one day and have the time, I'll just go and say, fuck it, I'll see Black Panther again.
Early morning, half-price tickets. Why not? If I can see it essentially for free with the Movie Pass I just got, then yes, I'm definitely going to I'll have an excuse then to see it again for the 4th time because. Yes, it's that good. I need to see other movies that the actors and actresses have been in because they were so good in that movie. I need to see more Angela Bassett. I need to see more Forrest Whitaker because he's forward.
You gotta see more Angela Bassett.
What's funny is that growing up as a kid, I was always surprised at how few other kids actually knew who the fuck Black Panther was, because Black Panther was one of my favorite superheroes growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was always an I fucking was a big comics nerd. But I mean, I would say that really what got me into Black Panther specifically was the animated Avengers movie.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Mm-hmm. That's how I was introduced to Black Panther, and he was always the best character in that show whenever he showed us.
That was 10 years ago from the animated Avengers movie, or specifically the animated Ultimate Avengers movie was or the second one specifically had Black Panther in it. That was how I was introduced to Black Panther, but I always found Black Panther to be an interesting character. Really,
he's better than Batman.
Oh yeah, he's definitely better than Batman.
I think I like him a little more than Batman, but I think that's my own bias showing. I'm not a comic book nerd, right? So, and I don't hate on comic book nerds. That's the thing. But I was never into anything Justice League, anything Marvel. The only movie I saw prior to seeing Black Panther was Doctor Strange, and that's because my mom.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Doctor Strange, I saw it. I didn't enjoy it as much. It was a bit, I mean, I did enjoy it once the movie started to pick up, but the movie picked up a bit too slowly for my liking.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that. I like Doctor Strange. I liked him as a character more than I liked the story he was in.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story was a basic origin story.
Also, I'm going to set the record straight. Old school Doctor Strange would totally beat Superman, because Superman is vulnerable to magic. Although he wasn't always he's not always been super weak to it, but he doesn't have any specific resistance to it.
Right.
And I mean, literally, Doctor Strange's power is his magic.
Right. Well, I just caught myself because I almost said some Infinity War shit, so I'm catching myself. We're good, but
again, only fake spoilers, like that song and dance routine where they all just break up in a showstopper.
That was crazy. I was so upset. And Thanos can't dance, so it was really upsetting for me to see, because I feel like if you're gonna get these stones, you should at least be able to dance.
But Drax has great pipes. Oh my god, that singing voice. I was turned on by that. And the duo he did with Rocket and Strange, amazing singing voices there. And that orgy scene.
I was so surprised of that Mantis. She's got all those gills on the side of her vagina, but she pulls it out, man. I'm proud of her.
I'm going to have to go back and actually watch the Guardians of the Galaxy movies too.
They're just great. I cried at the end of the second one.
I heard that they were both fucking, great, but I never actually got to watch them. The only reason I haven't watched the second one is because I haven't watched the first one.
I like 1. 2 I was into, but I would, even if you've not seen, because, I've never seen the Avengers movies, I've never seen the Iron Man movies or anything like that, but I still really got into it. So I would say you can sort of see a couple of them and get the premise. I would definitely. I've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy too, so I recommend see Guardians of the Galaxy, see Black Panther, and then just go. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever see? I think Thor Ragnarok also, I would say, it's one of those other required ones to see before seeing Infinity Wars because of the opening scene and stuff like that, which established opening scene of Infinity War.
Well, you see that you see at the end of Thor Ragnarok that Loki takes the Tesseract.
Hey! Oh, thanks, guys.
Sorry.
As Asgard is being Asgard is being destroyed by their fucking crazy ass bitch of a sister.
Is that Valkyrie?
No, not that. No,
Helga.
Hela.
Yeah, Helga. Kate Blanchett in the movie Thor Ragnarok.
I was hoping my favorite Marvel character in the comics, because I started kind of, getting into the comics a little bit. And I was hoping that my favorite character, Angela, would make an appearance because I love her. And I was hoping they'd make it like a series around her because I love her as a character. I love her backstory. She's one of the lesbian characters in the Marvel universe. So I was hoping they were going to put Angela in the motherfucker, but that's okay. I'll do it.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not that big of a comic book geek or anything like that. I definitely have a high respect for the medium. I've read Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. That's a great book for anyone who's like studies humanities and study English and stuff like that. That's a great dissection of like how comics is a unique medium for storytelling and stuff like that. Like how there's blood in the gutter in between frames, essentially like that. So I'm only big into like comics itself, just from the cartoon shows for sure, like the Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice is really good. I like Teen Titans and stuff like that, and the movies, of course. So so I'm the kind of perfect guy who's like, go to see the movie. I don't care how close they are, or as an adaptation to the original source material. They have to tell a good movie and stuff like that.
I'm not one of those people who's like a stickler for being completely accurate to the comics.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I also, even the comics aren't always accurate to the comics because there's so many different alternate universes in the comic. And the thing is the MCU itself is supposed to be an alternate unit or an alternate universe of the Marvel Comics continuity, or the main Marvel Comics continuity. It's supposed to be a completely different universe.
Right.
I mean, they also they pick and choose of like who they take for like representation or for the aesthetics of certain characters. Like they take like standard issue like Iron Man or something, but they took ultimate version of Nick Fury, and so that's how we have Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, because of course.
Well, also, I literally can't imagine anybody else playing Nick Fury on the big screen.
Yeah, there was a made for TV movie back in the 90s with Nick Fury as like the white version of Nick Fury, and I think off the top of my head, I think it was actually David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. Now imagine that.
Lord.
Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
I can't.
You know what's funny is that do you know where the origin of Nick Fury or of Nick Fury being played by Samuel L. Jackson actually came from?
Not off the top of my head, but
the Triple X movies, right?
No, it was actually Nick Fury. So they wrote a comic book where I think it's the one where Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, or it was a Deadpool comic, and they just randomly out of nowhere took a white Nick Fury and drew him to look like Sam L. Jackson.
Oh shit!
Of course, Sam L. Jackson noticed this and was actually completely cool with it, under the condition that in the future, if they ever have Nick Fury in a Marvel movie, that he wanted to play Nick Fury.
Oh shit! Okay.
That almost sounds quite similar to how Ryan Ryan Reynolds got to be a Deadpool. Someone like Deadpool.
Oh yeah, in 2004, in a Deadpool comic, literally Deadpool says, "I look like Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei."
And Ryan Reynolds is a big comic book fan, so he read that, and now we got Deadpool 2 coming out in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, I mean, he even played the bad Deadpool depiction in the movies, which was the the merc with the milk, but his mouth is sewn shut. I think you missed the Fox. I think you missed the point of Deadpool.
Right?
It was in X-Men Origins when they sewed his mouth shut.
Right.
I'm like, why the fuck are they sewing Wade Wilson's mouth shut? Literally, the whole point is that he's a meta character. Oh, what's funny too is that I was about to say something about something I found out in my stream with the Bronx blogger, but like we completely ended up going on to different topics. But I found out. It's fine. I'm not like having any problems with it. But I just remembered that I almost forgot to say what I was going to say. But Bronx blogger, so I found out that I was apparently the first person, or the first leftist, to actually give him like a platform on my channel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Unlike you. Yeah, on your 400 subscriber hangout or something like that, way back when, like over a year ago. Yeah. Oh yeah, over a year ago, I had hit 400 subs, and I saw him in the chat. I had seen him around on Twitter. He was the cool Antifa guy that I liked a lot. So, he still is that too, as well.
Yeah. So I invited him onto my stream, and he joined the chat, and I got to actually like meet him and talk to him, and it was really fun.
I think that's how I first learned the Bronx Bronco as well, and that's at the time when he did that, he only had like 60 subs, and so
fucking, and now he's got about as many as I do.
Right? I'm not sure how I met Bronx. Like, I feel like I met him on Twitter. Like, we talked a little on Twitter. We were in a Facebook group together, and we would interact a little bit, and then we talked on Twitter a minute, and then we sort of hung out on Messenger for a while. And he's super cool. I mean, awesome YouTuber. If you guys are out there listening, please go sub. He is amazing. He makes regular content. Go fuck with him.
Oh yeah, even his production value, even though it's like kind of just him in front of the camera most of the time, he does put down a nice, good classical music track to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
So, even though there's some visual imagery that can be good, important to know for the subject he's talking about, like Blair White or whatever, something like that, you can still just like listen to that, because his voice is also kind of soothing as well.
Yeah, we actually ended up. Funny enough, occasionally I'll actually just listen to his videos while I play Dark Souls or something.
Oh my god, his voice is perfect for that, and the music too. That's a match made in heaven. Bronx Blogger, and Dark Souls.
Yeah, but really his channel is awesome. He really does a lot of the work that I wish I could do when it came to monitoring the alt-right. Yeah. I just don't have the patience to monitor them and not immediately be combative.
Yeah.
I see a white hood and I immediately want to fucking stab a motherfucker.
I got you. I tend to try to talk about the alt-right as a big issue, as opposed to, I like that he does it, he and a lot of other people, they do it by talking about individual people and their views. I tend to like to talk about the alt-right as a big singular issue without getting into personalities, because frankly, I cannot stand listening to people for too damn long. Like, even people I like, I can be like, no, bye, I'll see you later.
I mean, I like, though, too, that he can also address specifically, figureheads who kind of put the ideas forward and kind of address them because the thing is that he's addressing specifically the propagandists of the alt-right, the ones who spread, or the ones who spread the right-wing propaganda, who kind of mainstream the talking points, and that's where it's like, that's where I think it definitely has to be addressed conversationally, as opposed to trying to,
talking about people like Tom. Oh, go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
Like, as opposed to trying to talk about you know, the more obscure, like, people that everybody can agree is a neo-Nazi. Talk about the people who are crypto, who hide the fact that they're neo-Nazis for propagandistic
I'm a white identitarian
purposes.
or a race realist, those kind of people, yeah.
Yeah, and talking about people like Tommy Lauren, or talking about people like Milo Yiannopoulos, who are definitely, who are conservatives, but who pander to that element by using their talking points, by framing issues in the way that they know are going to attract people on the alt-right.
Yeah. And
I think that's
definitely how you... I mean, yeah, that's definitely how you address it, too, is because those are the people who are going to mainstream it. Those are the people who are really going to be dangerous. Not the guys like Nathan D'Amigo who have no propaganda power. Those are going to be the guys who are going to be really dangerous once it's mainstream. But the ones who are dangerous right now are the ones mainstreaming it, you know? Like, the basic bitch conservatives like Milo and... you know, like Milo Yiannopoulos and fucking Tommy Loren and those other alt-light people who are
Ben Shapiro and stuff like that.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro, Lauren Southern, like, I mean, shit, we could sit here and just do a listicle all day long, you know, not even say anything else and just name off people. Because there are, you know, to me, there are different spheres of this. There are people who see this as an opportunity to make money, and if you talk to them in private, likely would be like, oh no, all this shit is stupid. All right. But they're sort of the Ann Coulter types who see this as an opportunity to sell books or to sell the content. And those people are as dangerous as people who are true believers, like a Richard Spencer.
Exactly.
And I think that those are the people that I think that we deal with. We all have to kind of deal with those people in the same way and connect them, but recognize that, there are people who are just out to make money. There are people who are true believers, and that they're their followers who are likely more true believers, and the trolls and people who know that they can get a rise out of leftists by talking about this to us. You know.
Yeah, it's important to like identify all those kind of people and like point it out. Like, pretty much anyone who's attending the Day for Freedom thing that's going on today in London, you know, people with all the duct tape over their mouth and ripping it off. I am not science. Like, wait a minute, who silenced you?
They silenced themselves because they put duct tape on their mouths.
Right.
And then ripped off to reveal a Hitler-style mustache. Oh wait, that was a parody movie, but still close to reality in a way, I guess.
That's where we start. Everything you know. The internet's starting to become Poe's law. Like, just the whole internet itself is Poe's law.
Well, hey, some leftist content and YouTubers are gaining popularity. Like Contra's over 100,000 subs. Three Arrows is like had a strong surge after the alt-right flagged his video, and then several people, including myself and probably you, American Anarchist, mirrored his video, and so that's how he got a lot of attention. Sean's always done great comments at his rights.
I didn't actually mirror the video because I've had a lot of disk space issues, which makes it hard for me to mirror videos. But
I did, at least. But no, a lot of people did. Like, anti-social media also did. But like, a lot of people's like it does.
Oh yeah, that way you literally cannot take them all down.
Exactly.
It's an awesome form of solidarity. I really like it when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm glad that none of my videos have been taken down yet. But you know, Oh yeah, and something else that I found out on my birthday, and this was like an awesome birthday present. is to realize that at one point during the YouTube channel, TJ Kirk actually somehow stumbled upon one of my videos and bitched about it on the Drunken Peasant, and that was how Bronx Blogger found my channel.
You have to thank TJ Kirk for showing your video to Bronx Blogger. You're doing something right if you got TJ Kirk to bitch at you.
If I've got TJ Kirk bitching at me, he's just like, I honestly, that's an accomplishment in my eyes.
It truly is. He's a bloviating piece of shit. So you get a ribbon, honey.
What's funny too is that I literally started this channel with the goal to basically be the leftist, like far left version of TJ Kirk, who is just kind of an asshole. Because I thought that it would be fucking great to turn that like on its head, the anti-feminist asshole. Instead, I'm the social justice asshole. Of course, Dick Coughlin always had a better shtick at that than I did, which is how I ended up becoming a fan of his videos.
Right, that's how. I mean, he was my intro to like leftist. Like, I didn't even know any of this existed, right, until I saw Coughlin's videos, and I was like, oh, okay. And honest to God, I probably should have started making videos sooner. I'd be further along in the process, but I think that I think that the one thing that differentiates us from the right is that we care. We're not, a lot of us don't monetize our videos.
Yeah, we're not going to go away because YouTube says, oh, you can't advertise this.
Right? Like, so many of them were like, oh my God, my ad revenue. It's like, so you do this for the ad revenue, not because you enjoy the physical making of these videos. Then fuck off.
Like, if this is your job, if you've made it your job, I don't, like, I made a Patreon because it's like, well, I want to be here. I want to be able to actually keep the channel going. That's the reason I made a Patreon. I didn't do it because I'm like, oh, I'm going to get like $50,000 a month on Patreon and I'll be all set. No, I'm like,
the quickest way to do that is to just be like, hey guys, I'm in the alt-right now. And then boom.
Oh yeah, like if I wanted to make money, I'd just, I could pull up like a Christy Winters video and call her a bitch and a cunt, and I could have also like not come out as trans, or I could have.
Right. Well, you could still be trans. The fun part is you can still be trans.
Oh yeah, you can be a token too.
You just have to toe their line.
Oh yeah, you just have to be their token.
Right.
Yeah.
Blair, Andy Worski kind of let his mask slip when he went and called Blair White a token.
No, I'm not surprised with Andy Worski.
It was very much a know your place, like, kind of, like, utterance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that just shows their hand very much, where it's just like they only will they accept these kind of people if they will not rock the boat too much and like they share the same talking points that they share and stuff like that, and that's really almost disgusting when you think about it like that, but not surprising, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, you get the black person who goes, well, I hate the N-words too, or you get the transgender, or you get the trans woman who goes, oh, I hate those damn trannies too. And we shouldn't allow trans people into the bathroom because they are rapists. It's kind of like Ben Carson basically trying to spin, like Ben Carson during the presidential election when he was telling the story about the end of the basically when the Civil Rights Act was
guys passed. My ride's here, but I'll be back, okay?
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Oh, I also forgot to mention, this is a completely open chat for anyone to join, so I can put the link in the chat for anybody who wants to join.
That's how I got onto my first ever like Google Plus Hangout, is because Michael Rowland's last July on the Logical Llama and Skeptical Squirrel channel was just doing a random hangout with like Christy Winters and Kevin Logan on the night of the Snap election in UK, and they decided it'd be funny to put the hangout link in the live chat, and so they did, and so that's how I jump on. I jump on with other like subscribers like Zachary and Lance, but also against someone else who jumped on, Ron, the Rugged Midwesterner, another fellow lefty Twitter personality and YouTuber as well. Ron, the Rugged Midwesterner, you're a cool guy. You're a great guy.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to do that. But yeah, it'll probably be fun. I doubt we'll get the occasional troll, but knowing your audience, I think your audience is cool.
The trolls don't find my channel fun because they get banned on site.
Right, you have all your friends being like mods and put them in gulags and stuff like that.
I mean, it's not even just my friends, it's my subscribers, people who I know aren't trolls. That one stream with Steve Shives, I think, cut down on bearing trolling so much, because I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna look who's a troll and who's not a troll. Okay, you're not a troll, you get a mod. You're not a troll, you're 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 a mod. And fucking, you start seeing these walls of message deleted. You just start, you can actually see in that stream that me and Steve are actually laughing about it too. Because I'm like, you know what? It's time to redistribute, it's time to distribute the, for the, pitchforks and torches.
Yes.
And run these assholes out.
Yep. And, oh man, if like chat with replay was like available then, that would have been like sweet to see all those message deleted, and stuff like that.
It was in a hangout with Steve Shives, Jeff Holiday, and Baring had found the video.
Of course they did. They hate watch Steve Shives. Of course they did.
Oh yeah. What's funny too is but funny enough, the only so basically the thing is that Baring and Jeff Holiday had found my channel before then. Like Baring would respond to me in a tweet, like he would respond to my video by tweeting it out, and then just fucking Baring Mafia would come to my videos and fucking dislike it and leave comments, and I'm like, okay, you're banned, banned, just on my own.
You're censoring then. How dare you?
You know what's funny is it only took 20 mods to get walls. Like, and when I say walls, I mean literally like whole fucking pages worth of comments, just giant fucking walls that say message deleted. Because, they had been banned from the channel.
Yeah, do you also have like certain words that you just like have automatically like hold for like approval and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I have it set so that every slur gets automatically examined.
Oh yeah. You don't want that in basically your home in your comment section, like how Chris Winters always puts it. Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, if someone comes into my home and starts talking about how the N-words or whatever, it's like, I'm fucking grabbing you by the collar and I'm tossing you out.
Hey,
get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah. We can't say I, as a white person, can't say the N-word in this world. My younger brother literally said that to me, and I was like, how is that a bad thing? Why do you want to say the N-word? God.
Yeah, why do you want to say the N-word so bad?
Censorship, freedom of speech.
Oh yeah.
I always share my views of my younger brother to other people just so it will ease my burden. That's why I'm a feminist now. That's why I'm a leftist, to piss him off or to balance out the world, in my view.
Oh yeah.
Or in my opinion.
Like, the thing is with my family, I just, like, I literally do not talk about politics with them because I'm like, for me, it's like, okay, if you don't have in my family, it's like, okay, if you don't have the basic understanding of what I'm saying, I don't have any reason to talk with you about it because you're not even going to let me give you the intro or let me like educate you. So it would be a waste of my time to even try and discuss it. So, at this point it's like I don't confront them. I just like kind of passively let them know like, "Oh yeah, I think everything you say right now is fucking racist as all hell."
Oh, I have like trolled my younger brother with my Christmas gift to him. I bought him Susie Faluti's Backlash to him. But the thing is, I think my other brother who lives in Oregon also did the same thing because my younger brother got as a gift a second copy of Susie Faluti's Backlash, the exact same book. I'm thinking my older brother also watched Philosophy Tube and Ollie highly recommended that book. And so, yeah, he got 2 copies of a feminist book, and he's like, what the crap? And now that I'm thinking about it, his birthday is coming up at the end of the month, so I have to like think, well, what other gifts should I give him? He is a gamer gator, so I want to like buy him a gift of a SJW video game, something like Lady Killer in the Blind, or maybe like Undertale, or BattleTech, or the recent one, or any kind of like video game that has outrage controversy because, oh my god, you can be a trans person in this video game, and other crap like that. Yeah. And just troll him.
Oh yeah, get him Dragon Age Inquisition. There's a trans man in that game that made a lot of people complain that SJWs were ruining video games.
But they never go back to like previous video games and say, what the crap, Ultima 3 Exodus, you can choose the gender of other? What the hell? You can also like choose your species of basically being like I forgot what the species name was in that game, but you essentially can be like a third gender furry, which is interesting.
I'm trying to remember what the game was. For some reason I thought it was Demon's Souls that had it, but there was some, like, one of those quote-unquote hardcore games that actually had a fucking gender slider for your character.
Oh, yeah, I have to remember that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that would be awesome, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's multiple genders, people, and I totally accepted that. I mean, I don't care how many they are.
What's funny is that I've found that, people who get super anal retentive about the whole fucking there's only 2 genders thing, it really when it gets down to it, they don't have much of a reason other than it makes them feel uncomfortable, and they don't even really know why it makes them feel uncomfortable that people might identify as a third gender.
Yeah, they never just like being self-reflective and just like actually like they accept the possibility that other people have different experiences with their gender, or like a lot of confusion or a lot of difficulty with the social norms that have been put upon them because of what it was assigned to them at birth based on what type of genitals you have. And then there's also like the times where there's like the in-between, the intersex babies, where it used to be, if I remember correctly, the doctors decide,
the doctors would basically take a guess by looking at the genitalia which gender the baby was, and then be like, okay, well, we're gonna reconstruct the genitals. It's a completely unnecessary surgery, but we need it just so that we just because we think this person might be this gender.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never understood the whole, again, even in fucking high school, like, I was fucking 14 and I actually kind of leaned conservative. I never fucking understood the whole anti-non-binary shit where it's like, because the thing was I was also into, like, science and psychology. Oh, yeah. And the thing is that it had already been accepted in psychology that that gender is much more of an identity thing than an actual biological thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that, parts of gender identity are based off of biological realities, but that's not the end all be all of gender. And gender is the thing is I never wrote off sociology either. Is sociology, in sociology, it's just accepted. There are there isn't like a strict binary of gender, and gender is much more of a sociocultural thing than it is an actual biological thing.
And it also in other.
Yeah, sex is biological, but even then, it's not a strict binary. Nothing in biology is a strict binary either. Like acting like hard science also works in strict binaries too. Is very deceptive.
I mean, I think the reason why people have a hard time accepting things are on the spectrum, like gender identity, sex, sexual orientation, even gender expression. I mean, I have shown before, maybe I can show it now as something like that, because I am a cis-het man, but I am wearing, I'm wearing leggings. These are R2-D2 leggings that happen to go with my R2-D2 bowler hat and stuff like that. And so even though as a cis-het white man, I still express my gender a little differently by deciding to wear leggings. But the reason why I wear leggings is that I'm a geek, and so I wanted to wear geeky stuff on me, like the hat, like all my shirts. This is like Liliana, the Veil from Magic the Gathering. I got the t-shirt for $5 anyway, and so I wanted geeky related pants, but in men's clothing pants there wasn't that many artistic or geek related stuff. It had to be leggings, and so it was a little bit before I was like, I'm not sure, and then I bought some and then wore them, and I thought, hey, these actually feel comfortable, feel great. The only problem I have with the leggings, no pockets, because women don't need pockets because they have the purse. And I'm like, so I can now understand why women complain about their women's clothing, the clothes around women.
I just wear normal fucking jeans all the time because they have pockets.
Yeah.
That's also because fucking jeans are my style. And as I've lost weight, I've actually gotten mad because it's like, damn, now I can't fit my clothes, or now I can't fit my phone, my keys, and my wallet in my pocket at the same time. I have to keep juggling one out of the pocket, and then two in the pockets, one out of the pocket, two in the pockets, and it's always a different thing.
Yeah. I always have to have pockets because I need pockets for my phone, my wallet, and my portable charger, which currently my phone is hooked up right now. I got a charger in my pocket to keep this phone on.
I mean, also, fucking, at work, I would wear sweatpants that are much more comfortable for my job, but fucking, then my pants fall down to my fucking knees while I'm working because of all the weight in my pocket.
Yep. Thank God for belts, at least, I guess.
Yeah, but belts don't work don't work on sweatpants.
Yeah, that's true. You have to really MacGyver that in order to get that to work somehow.
Oh yeah, there are guys who use the plastic wrap at work to just fucking keep their pants up.
That makes sense, as like that. Or just belt loops with string onto sweatpants. But if you're doing that, you're doing all that extra work. I mean, why bother with the belts or something like that? Just make the elastic tighter or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The thing is I'll have the elastic as tight as I can get it around, but it can't stand as much weight as a belt or just tight jeans can, because it's still ultimately meant to stretch.
Yep. You never realize these problems when you're losing weight. It's like, damn it, I now have to buy new clothes? Crap! I don't want to spend money, I'm poor!
Oh yeah, it's like fucking, I just started making an actual decent income, and even then it's kind of a shit fucking wage.
Yeah.
I mean, not as bad as other jobs or other people in the country, but still $12.50 an hour is not that's still struggling to pay rent range.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm better off than you at just like $16 an hour, roughly. That's not my exact amount, but pretty close. But yeah, I have to like in the Seattle area, I have to like live in it.
Yeah, I think that the in Seattle the standard of living is quite a bit higher though than here. So even though you're probably better off in wage than I am, I probably have a little bit less difficult of a time actually paying for like rent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but
I have to live in,
food is fucking expensive over here because it's if it's not meat, it's a fucking food desert over here.
Yeah. I can definitely see that as a major problem, something like that. Because vegetables are important, people. Fruit are important. Come on, eat more of those. I shouldn't eat more of those. Then again, I did like trick my brothers into feeding them basically a vegetarian dish. It wasn't vegan. I used cheese, but a vegetarian dish to them, and they didn't seem to mind.
Yeah.
I cooked like spaghetti with carrots and celery, and it's like they thought carrots and spaghetti. Okay, they still eat it all the same.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's not that difficult to substitute meat for to substitute meat with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've found that one of my favorite things to substitute meat with is beans. Like, just beans generally. Because beans have a lot of protein in them, and I just fucking love the taste of beans. But, I mean, fucking... You know, it's like, now I'm fucking losing weight and I've lost 3 pant sizes in the space of... In the space of 3 months, I have lost 3 pant sizes, and it's like... God damn it. God damn it, I actually need to have clothes to wear. Can you stop losing weight on me, you dumb body?
Well, if it was like a rapid like weight loss, like within like less than a month or something like that, that would be actually concerning because that is actually a symptom of something being wrong or something like that. But it was like, if over the course of 3 months, that sounds reasonable. Oh, so if there's nothing else.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's completely because of the change in physical activity that it's all happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
if you're burning more calories than you're taking in, then of course you're a lose weight. Yep, that's how the body works.
Yeah. Although your body often, believe it or not, when your body's not in fasting, initially after burning off all its food energy, what it'll do is it'll when you start to feel ghrelin release, that's when your stomach starts to feel empty. Do you ever notice that even if you don't eat for a little while after that feeling sets in, you'll just not be hungry anymore?
I have noticed that.
In that brief period, just before your body goes into ketosis, which is the fasting period, which is where your body starts to fast, your body doesn't actually break down fat at all until it gets to the fasting period. Before then, it's taking all of its calories from muscle, specifically because muscle is more energy intensive than fat.
Makes sense.
But it doesn't want to do this too much because, you know, muscle is really important to the body. So, you know, if you let yourself go hungry for a little bit, like, I'm not even recommending that, like, oh, you're just fasting all the time. But, I mean, you know, if you allow yourself to go hungry within the period of a day for a little while, you'll find that it's a bit easier to actually, like... You'll find that it's actually a bit easier to lose fat as opposed to losing muscle.
Oh yeah, I heard that before. I think fitness experts and nutritional gurus or something like that has recommended that. It's called intermittent fasting, where it's almost like you either skip your breakfast essentially, or a little bit, or if you do, all you have in the morning is like black coffee, something like that.
Intermittent fasting was so basically what that is basically you go for like a period of 16 hours without food, and then you have an 8-hour period where you're basically allowed to eat what you want, eat your caloric intake. Generally, you still eat less calories because of that 8-hour period. But what happens is that, your body is allowed to actually go hungry and start to break down some of its energy story.
I think that's it. That is actually the big struggle for many people who are actually trying to actually lose weight and lose significant weight, is that they have a big problem with like appetite suppression. And so that's why some fitness gurus or dietitians will like recommend for people who want to lose weight, it's something to like suppress your appetite, like NCT oil or stuff like that. But I'm also, for all those who are watching at home, if you're honestly seriously about like losing weight, just ask a dietitian whatsoever. I'm just some random geek on the internet. I am not an expert at like this.
Actually, specifically, do not ask a dietitian, and don't even just take my word for it. Like, talk to a nutritionist, because
Oh yeah, that's
like
true.
if your diet, like especially like if you're diabetic, you shouldn't do a keto.
Exactly.
Like, you shouldn't do a ketogenic diet or anything like that. You shouldn't really be fasting, because your body, because of the whole, if you're type 2 diabetic, your body, where you have no insulin sensitivity, you're insulin resistant, your body actually can't really absorb stored energy, so you should keep feeding yourself at that point. Like, that's just kind of what you need to do. Because otherwise it'll send your body into shock. But, I would say seriously, talk to a nutritionist, because you can't just... because you can't really just... the thing is I'm not an expert on it. I won't pretend to be an expert on it, but I will say that for hundreds of thousands of years, we, as humans... we didn't eat every day. We ate, there's a lot of, so there's actually a lot of different benefits that come with increases in ghrelin. Like, when you start to be hungry a little bit, you actually think through problems a lot better, because... and that's an evolutionary mechanism from the fact that we as humans actually, like, we needed to spend a lot of our time thinking of ways to catch food. Now we have food in abundance, so the problems we're solving aren't to actually get food, but your brain's much more effective at lateral thinking in a state of hunger than it is when your hunger is satiated.
Oh yeah, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because like there are some poker players. I think it was like Hal Halaberos or something like that. I forgot his real name. Anyway, he always would be somewhat hungry as he plays poker, because then him being starving, he's more hungry to win at the poker table or something like that, treating his chips like his food and stuff like that. And so that's where he, in moderation, of course, would feel that he is more focused at the poker table when he does that and something like that. So I can definitely see some truth to that.
Yeah. I mean, just a guy friend pointed out that I'm assuming because of the name that the pronouns are he. You can obviously correct me on that. And back in 2011, so they are saying that they're pre-diabetic, and back in 2011 and 2013, there were periods where you fasted up to 3 days. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I assumed that just because of the name, but also, but still shouldn't make assumptions as much as possible.
But, I mean, on Twitter, Vadim Newquist actually tweeted out Kevin Logan's Mirror of Window Fears excellent video of response to Sean on Head, the pink tax video, and another guy.
I really don't get people who are saying that Shu is somehow is somehow a good YouTuber. She's still not a good YouTuber. She's still a shitlord.
Exactly. And like in the past, whenever people said, shoot, you're still criticizing like pop feminism and you're doing more harm in the world than good. Don't you realize that? And she would react by, if I don't make fun of pop feminism, I'll go crazy. Okay, so you're not willing to change? I have that problem with you too. I just don't watch her content. Then again, I do follow her on Twitter, but that's because I haven't like challenged her on her opinions and stuff like that. Maybe I should like do that and do like what Michael does. It's like, hey, you're friends with Lauren Summer. What do you say about that? And see if I get blocked by her. That might be fun. But anyway, Vinny Newquist basically said kind of like went after Shu for that Pink Tax video, inciting Gwen No Fear's movie.
Oh, she was?
Video. Yeah, but well.
Oh, sorry. there was a comment from Just a Guy Friend. He says, but she was in Contra Lindsay Ellis, Peter Coffin's chat a couple days ago. Yeah, I know that ContraPoints is friends with Shu. I don't really necessarily get it, but I mean, I'm not here to police ContraPoints. I'm just saying that I really don't understand the people that like Shu.
Yeah, it's Claudia Brown, formerly known as Frantic Feminist, also is friends with Shu. How I had that happen is because Claudia Brown made a video a long time ago, about over a year ago, a minor criticism of Shu on Head. And because it was a minor criticism, I think that she kind of like took the criticism on board, and that's how they just started talking as I walk into my apartment. And they basically became friends over that. And Claudia Brown kind of knows a lot of. Claudia Brown kind of knows of like people's opinions of like showing ahead, but she just never is like very critical of her. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, like I can't police Claudia, but at the same time, you know. Yeah. Fucking. Oh yeah, Just a Guy Friend. Nick's got the right idea. The I can't stand Shu. But yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where it's just Oh, H Bomber Guy's recent nuclear take. Are you talking about the one saying that Stalinism is fascism? Because if so, I don't think it's a great take. Like, I'm obviously not a big fan of the USSR, but I think that comparing it to fascism is not helpful, as Marxism, Leninism, and fascism are not comparable ideologies in my eyes. I really don't think that any ideologies on the left have any comparable attributes to ideologies on the right.
Yeah, I agree. You have to really, really, really stretch what ideologies are on the red or on the right in order to get that to happen. I mean, the closest is liberalism, but even liberalism, and this is in the British sense of non-radical, that tends to slide into the right more often, and fascism because it's non-radical and stuff like that. And all for philosophy too.
Pedro said, "Yeah, I wouldn't call the Black Panthers fascism. I think that's almost racist. I don't think it's almost racist. I just think it's straight up fucking racist to call the Black Panthers fascist, because they weren't. You know, I'm not necessarily a fan of I used to be ML myself, or kind of. I used to be like a big fan of Guevara. And I mean, that's something that in the marginalized communities, that's kind of your introduction to radical politics a lot of the time, is what Guevara has kind of done. So, I don't necessarily blame the Black Panthers for being ML. I still think that what they've done for the Black community is absolutely fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
It took the fucking FBI to actually fucking like destroy them. Oh, some random geek joined the video call.
Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna hang up here.
Yep.
Especially since you have echo.
Yeah, I'm going to mute the old one. Actually, no, I'm just gonna eject it.
Yes, kick him out. Kick out some random geek. He is a poser. He's not a true leftist. We don't need that kind of talk here. I mean, he associates with centrists.
Oh yeah, fucking.
All right, now I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But like, no, wait, okay, Black Panthers, or like, yeah, like talking about like H. Bomber guy's take on Stalinism as fascism, which I'm more or less in agreement with you because like, well, especially since with like socialism and like communism and anarchism, I'm learning about that. I'm reading some like books. Hold on, wait a minute, and maybe. Okay, that's fine. Checking my speakers, making sure that that's the correct speakers. I'm learning about anarchism right now, so I'll admit I'll know just enough to know I don't know a lot. And so I will refer to you on whether or not Stalinism is fascism and stuff like that. Ugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It would be. It's kind of impossible for Marxism-Leninism to actually be like fascism. Especially, like, you know, I would say that I don't agree with the politics of a state, or the politics behind having a state. I do think that obviously there needs to be organization, and that organization does need to be. I just think that the way it needs to run is bottom up or just completely horizontally. I think that ultimately completely horizontally would be the goal, but if you do have to organize on a large scale, there has to be some amount of delegation going upwards to make wider decisions, but that has to be based on consensus from below anyway.
Right.
So the original consensus does have to be made below.
Yeah.
But you can have like representatives who come in to basically represent the consensus of a specific group, and that can keep going up even if you're dealing with larger areas. Because that's something that would be necessary, and I would say that Marxist or ML would have been much better or made definitely more sense before the age of the internet, as there wasn't as much of a way to really organize from below.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot harder, or it would have taken more time. But I mean, even then, just generally, even amongst bigger organizations or states, it still took longer to organize without the internet than it does now. I think with more instantaneous communication, it does make processes like these go a lot faster. You know, some fucking, you know, what we're doing right now, this would have taken months to have this kind of correspondence back and forth. Just for each, just to send letters back and forth 100 years ago, it would have taken, you know, it would have taken months to go back, or no, not 100 years ago, 200-300 years ago, it would have taken months to actually get letters back and forth from that distance.
And we would definitely.
This is near instantaneous communication with a little bit of lag.
Yeah. And we can do this across 3 continents. And then we can use this amazing technology of communicating with various different people across different different continents and time zones, just so we can sing a song of saying, Tim, shave your head. Tim Blake, shave your head. Tim Blake, shave your head. Your hair is not as fabulous as Blissful Melancholy. That's a callback to Blissful Melancholy's birthday.
Oh, I think now I remember what you're talking about. The Oh yeah, we actually brought up that the whole Tim shave your head thing.
Exactly. Me and Michael Rowlands were singing a song and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, you know what's funny too is that fucking crap. What was I gonna say?
Blissful Melancholy.
What's funny too is that it was specifically the first time I had Michael Rowlands on my channel that fucking the Bearing Mafia came down on my channel and just fucking
Oh yeah, that's with
then,
Michael Rowlands and Christiosity as well.
And Christiosity. And fucking my audience was getting drowned out, so I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not fucking I found it really funny when crap. Like, I found it really funny when fucking Bearing was like, oh, I'm like, can you ask Michael this? And fucking Michael's like, fuck Bearing, don't let him dictate the chat. And I'm like, okay, I will not read a single Bearing question to you then.
Exactly.
Honestly, I was just fucking happy because I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is going to trigger a rant from Michael, which, I kind of would like to hear a Bearing rant.
Yeah.
But, that was the best possible result, was just fucking fuck Bearing.
And I'm
don't let him dictate the conversation at all.
Exactly. He's just a brown bear in Australia, a cartoon bear. Why should anyone listen to him?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the best way to refer to him is as in, like, actual fat brown bear.
Mm-hmm. He just hangs around in the rivers and then in the waterfalls and eating salmon and then shits in the wood, just like the Pope.
No, fuck it. No, but I mean, yeah, and then when, actually, even then, that technically wasn't the first time. Fucking, I remember, though, in the Steve Shives stream that I had, when I fucking had him on my channel, fucking, I found Jeff Holiday, like, tried to come on with, like, 50 different accounts.
How does he manage that?
He even contacted me on Facebook, and it's like, okay, this is how adults act, apparently.
No, just that one. I'm not surprised that one adult will act that way when he proudly wears shitlord on his baseball cap. And it's just like, okay, not going to say anything about the piercings or the tattoos or how he does his hair. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that in my opinion. It's just like this shitlord. You're going to get some funny looks with that on your head on baseball cap if you go into like job interviews and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd like to get a mortgage on my house. Why do you have shitlord on your baseball cap? It's just
well, I mean, I will say at least with the baseball cap, it's not too dumb because at least if there aren't any like if you were to get rid of the most there's a possibility you could get away with just not wearing it to a job interview.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then, obviously, like, I'm not for, like, policing people's, like, clothing and stuff. Like, when it comes to a job interview, because, well, one, I'm, like, just anti-capitalist, so,
Oh, yeah, so am I.
Fuck corporations in general, but, obviously, like, it's kind of ridiculous when, someone with stretched ears can't get a job, or someone with a tattoo that's inoffensive has to, like, cover that tattoo because, policy is you're not allowed to have any visible tattoos, so you're going to have to wear long sleeves. Fucking my job, they can't tell you to do that if you have a tattoo. They're like, you could have... My job, they're like, oh yeah, we don't like care. There's no like actual code of dress, because like I said, in the summer it was 60 degrees out. It was 60 degrees out on Friday. Actually, I think it was like 70 degrees out on Friday inside the actual warehouse because there's no climate control except for in the break room. It was 105 degrees, and it was fucking muggy in there.
Yeah, that's the thing about, like, for me personally, it's not Well, the heat at a certain point, I'll be like above like 90, 95 Fahrenheit, which is probably like close to 30 or something like that centigrade. I would like
just imagine working in that heat though, lifting heavy boxes and I mean, it's also as much of a cardio workout as it is a it is as much of a cardio workout as it is a fucking like
powerlifting or stuff like that, or weight training.
Yeah, you know. So there's a lot of like heavy shit that I have to lift, but then also there's like fucking I don't know. So you know, like fucking cat litter isn't light. I can tell you that. A very small box of it on its own is 20 pounds easily. Fucking, there are bags of it that are like 40 pounds. I pick them up like 3 at a time sometimes. Fucking trying to do that in the heat, it's not fun. You know, you go through a lot of water too to make sure you don't dehydrate.
Yeah, that's important. So I just want to clarify, you did just put like the Hangout link in the chat, the live chat?
Yes.
Right? Okay, just... You're gonna say as much, and so maybe we'll definitely get some more of your subscribers in the subscribers hangout. And you can now come and chat with not only American Anarchist, but me, but also American Anarchist and American Anarchist.
Hey, and I mean, maybe in like maybe in like an hour or so, Owen McDonald might show up. I'll probably have to like leave in like an hour or like in like an hour and a half though, because fucking at least by then, because I work, so it's like 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Right. And it's like 3:18 here.
Yeah. You know, so I have to be up fucking when I go to work in the morning. It's 6:30 over here for Monday, but when I get the 10-hour days, it's a 5 o'clock start. And I mean, I go into work on so you know, I'm gonna be in work by like 5:30 in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm gonna have to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Or 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I'm up, if you decided to have like a late night, you could potentially still be up when I wake up. Oh, hello, it's Mugwomp.
Hello.
Yeah. You're in the last subscriber hangout as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I was at one of them before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've seen Mugwomp around quite a bit.
I think I follow you on Twitter as well.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry.
By the way, this is I'm gonna post a link to a tweet that I want people to like on Twitter.
Oh wait, yeah, I'm now on Twitter, so now I'm gonna find that and see. Okay, yep, I found that, and so I'm just gonna like it, and I'm just gonna retweet that so more people can see it. And now I'm seeing like a Lonely Wolf's meme that he like replied to. Send clothes.
Yeah,
you know what?
Send clothes.
I'm gonna screenshot that so I can. So if it screen share now, bam. That's what American Anarchist mentioned earlier. Send clothes from Lonely Wolf.
Oh, the chat wasn't live when I mentioned that either. Funny enough.
Okay. So I forgot what was like pre-chat or post-chat. I remember I did started describing my first time ever getting high off of weed and stuff like that. Yes, that happened on Friday. First time I ever smoked weed, and my God, no wonder people enjoy that.
No wonder people smoke weed.
Anyway, send clothes. Stop screen sharing now.
Yep. All right. Yep. And it's no longer presenting to everybody either. So
that's fine. Switching hats because I can do that because I got all my hats right over here. So Friday, first time I ever tried marijuana. First, a friend was passed around a vape, very light marijuana. So I just tried it. This tastes pleasant and stuff like that. I'm not hacking or coughing, and so I find this quite enjoyable.
The guy who drives me home from work, fucking, he has a fucking weed vape, and holy shit, the thing's fucking dangerous. It does not smell like weed, so like you know, someone could literally go into the fucking aisles at work and fucking take hits off of it while on the machine. Like, I wouldn't do that. Although I can I can focus on my job better when I'm high than I can when I'm like stone cold sober.
Mm-hmm.
Is mine really loud? Because I'm in the laundry room at work.
It's not too bad. It's not too loud.
It's echoey, but it's not like super loud.
Exactly. We can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
We hear.
Yeah, you don't.
That's what we used before. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right back and gonna go to the kitchen to get myself a drink because we're celebrating you, American Anarchist, getting 800 subs. So we should do that. Well, I should do that at least while drinking. And we also talked politics before on the stream. Who talks politics sober? I gotta be intoxicated in order to continue
talking politics. I talk politics sober all the time. It's just more fun to talk about them drunk.
I agree. So I have the opportunity to get drunk, so I'm gonna do that.
You know what? I should just start, before I do hangouts, I should just start getting fucking sloshed beforehand. Oh. And I'm going to check my Twitter to see if anybody new has liked the tweet other than Geek.
I'll probably like it later because I'm like in the middle of laundry.
Oh no, it's not. Oh, I see. No personality liked it. Horror movies, pop music, intersectional progressive. God damn it! Fucking sometimes I swear that I speak better when I'm drunk than when I'm sober. No, but horror movies, pop music, intersectional progressivism. Is there a problem here? He, him.
Oh, that's a nice fez.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Now I'm off mute. Thank you. This is one of my favorite hats. Bought this 4 years ago. Not only is this like a fez, yes, and so people ask me, "Are you a Shriner?" No, but this is also modeled after, of course, the Star Wars character Boba Fett, and so thus this is the Boba Fett fez, and thus the Boba Fez. I get a lot of compliments on this one and stuff like that, and sometimes even strange ones like, "Are you Middle Eastern?" No. The hat is like Ottoman Empire, 1800, so it's like it's kind of close in that area, but no, myself, no, not close. That's one of my strangest like comments I had of this hat. I get mostly just Shriners, but sometimes I'll get like, that was just like funny looks. But then later on, it's like, oh my god, I just realized what that hat is. Can I take a picture? Because I was out of the convention. I said, sure, absolutely.
I've noticed, I mean, fucking my father, like you brought up the whole Middle Eastern thing. My father gets randomly stopped at airports.
That's
randomly in quotes. Like pretty much every time. His skin's a little darker than the average white American.
Yep.
Because he's mixed race, and he's also pretty heavily Mediterranean, so he's not. He doesn't look white at all. Like he doesn't look white at all. He looks Middle Eastern, and he gets stopped randomly at airports all the time.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, there we go.
You're low, but that's fine.
Your voice is...
Can I boost that?
American Anarchist can possibly do that in the control room if he has access to that.
I don't have access to the control room because...
Oh yeah, you're on your other device or something like that. Try speaking again. See if you can...
I'm gonna boost it. Wow, yeah, that is low. That's strange.
Okay. Well, I'll do that. You sound fine for just other than being low. Welcome to the stream, and I'm going to crack open some dragon. I think so. Introduce yourself to the group.
I'm Rich Lynn. If you can probably guess where I'm from. Hold up, it could be a little higher, Candid. Let me see if I can boost it more.
It's definitely better. But I'm drinking some Dragon's Blood Mead.
Man, last time is that a little loud?
Not to me.
No, you're fine.
All right, good. I saw a level capping off, and I was worried.
I'm not spiking at all.
I'm Rich Lynn. I mean, like I used to make videos, but then I moved back home, and I've been pretty fucking busy with party stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
I heard you all talking shit, so I had to join.
Well, I'm going to be in the proper state to talk shit. I'm going to get drunk off of Dragon's Blood Mead.
So Dragon's Blood Mead, I know that there's definitely honey in it because, honey's the primary ingredient of mead. But what else is in it that makes it Dragon's Blood Mead?
It's an ancient recipe because, this is from a local meadery, so only in Washington State. But they do ship out to the continental United States, but only the United States. And wait a minute, they have it right here on the label: raspberry, blackberry, blueberry mead. That's what Dragon's Blood is. And this meadery is just done by just like a father and son duo who just love making mead and just make it to their special for just themselves or give it to their friends at weddings and stuff like that, or the Renaissance Fair as well, which they go to every year. And they started to make a small business out of that. And it was the people who work at the Renaissance Fair who mentioned about the recipe for Dragon's Blood, and so that's how they made this mead. It was a limited edition mead for a while, and then it was so popular they made it a standard mead and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a blackberry, raspberry, and blueberry.
I used to brew mead, so I know a lot of it's one of those things that you can do if you can't buy alcohol, is you can brew your own.
Yep.
I mean, it was basically, I just fucking experimented with mixtures of honey and water and then just would put extra stuff in it to change the flavor.
Yep.
But yeah,
and the glass I'm drinking out is one of my recent glasses I got at SoccerCon this past year. Is, if you can't recognize it, it's My Hero Academia. And what's funny is that the guy who was working at the vendor who sold it to me is like, "Oh, I don't know what's on there." And I said, "It's My Hero Academia." He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so jealous now. If I had known that, I would have bought it myself." He didn't realize what he was selling. So yeah. So I'm like, score. I like My Hero Academia. I think that's a really good show. That's going to be my baseline for any other future shonen action.
I actually haven't seen it at all. Although I ended up getting back into the whole fucking Avatar series recently because it was funny enough, I blame Riley Dennis for fucking showing me the Korosami shit. Because at the time I had watched the whole Last Airbender and the first season of The Legend of Korra, but I hadn't seen the rest of the show until 2016 when I watched the whole thing from the beginning all over again. I'm actually going to get a DVD set of it so that I have more things to do when I actually get home and have free time, which, by the way, that's the reason all of my videos recently have been just Google Hangouts. Is because I don't have enough time to actually edit videos.
That's kind of why I haven't posted a video in a month on my small channel of Summer and the Geek. Check it out. It's because for me, pure laziness. When I get off of work, I now got Movie Pass, so I decided to go watch movies or play Magic the Gathering, or I get home just play video games on my computer, not do any actual scripting or anything like that, or recording. I've been meaning to do a review, a non-spoiler review for.
I never do scripts for my videos. I just edit them after I record them.
So, sorry to interrupt, American Anarchist. What's your Twitter? I'm doing you a shout out.
My Twitter,
your handle.
At AMER Anarchist. So it's the
just
first.
as written. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that. I just posted it in the group chat. If you can see that.
I was gonna start posting.
It's the Mirror Anarchist. All right, that's all right. I gotta listen to that again.
First four letters of it's the first four letters of American and then anarchist because, well, American anarchist wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
The Twitter account used to just be a personal Twitter account under like my dead name, so it had a completely different handle, which it had a completely different handle even when I first started the YouTube channel. And then I found out how to actually change the handle, and I changed it to something related to my YouTube channel instead of it was Big Blue 418, which basically blue was like a nickname I gave myself because of my eye color, and the 418 was just a reference to my birthday.
No, okay.
Because April 18th is my birthday.
Yep, and you had a stream with. Sorry, what was that again?
I said there isn't an 18th month. What is this?
yeah.
No. I live in Americana land where we do everything backwards.
Exactly. It's month, day, year. Just because.
I mean, even Latin America doesn't do the dates backwards.
Yeah, it totally makes sense to do day, month, and then year. The smallest unit of time on the calendar time and up incrementally and stuff like that. America just wants to do everything backwards. America just wants to do everything their way. Just because.
I mean, just like,
we still have feet and inches, and
yet
we belt.
I mean, if I can just get all tanky here for a second, there's like a material reason why there's this American chauvinism that develops where there is this like this sentiment to want to be unique. Like that's
of course.
It's because the imperial heartland, like
America,
there's
the
a
original
feeling of ownership over like what you can do, and essentially it's because they're the rulers of the world. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yep. Is that how we get Trump? No, that's.
Well, I think everyone should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do, so long as they're not infringing on the rights of what other people want to do, which is why I'm anti-capitalist and
exactly.
No, I don't know. I don't think it's wrong to infringe on bourgeois rights.
Well, the bourgeois don't count as people.
Well, I mean, see, I mean, like it's a good meme. I don't mean to talk to like give you shit for it, but I just don't.
It's okay.
I don't like going with that argumentation more because like I just don't like dehumanizing people. I don't.
I mean, I was definitely memeing. I don't necessarily. Yeah. I don't actually agree with dehumanizing people. Fascists are people. They're.
I mean, that's the scariest thing. They're like human beings.
Yeah, exactly. They just like think that like it's totally fine for like some people to not have the same rights as me, and I'm like, when I ever hear that,
when I say not infringing upon other people's rights, I would say that for the bourgeoisie, just them existing does infringe on other people's rights. So
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you like want to be going down this route of conversation, but like if we look at the history of revolution in this, take Soviet Union or Catalonia or China or even Chile, you see that even after you expropriate people they were capitalist, they own means of production to keep it simple. There's still let's say they're not necessarily infringing on anyone's rights, but they still organize in order to sabotage the community at large. So and even before that point, I think
it's definitely one of those things where
don't fucking do that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where if you talk too broadly about rights, you do start to get into the point where you can start being like. Yeah, I mean, I use that term, like, when I say what I said, when I say it generally, it's much more of a general statement. There are obviously nuances, like you brought...
Fair enough.
The bourgeoisie still do, like, after revolutions, they do still organize to try and get their power back. That's just and that should obviously be prevented in pretty much any means.
You're talking of the dictatorship of the proletariat. I like it.
I'm an anarcho-dictator.
I mean, if you wanna use Marxist terms, yeah, I guess that's you're an anarcho-dictator among many other pros who are members of the dictatorship.
I guess we can just make anything anarchist. We just put anarcho in front of it. I remember,
capitalists do it.
Yeah, exactly. Conservatives, anarcho-conservatism.
Dude, we had a straight up ANCAP running into the election. That guy is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Oh my god. ANCAPs are fascists who don't want to admit they're fascists.
Dude, no, like the thing is, he's the grandson of two members of the fucking National Socialist Party. He's running the elections. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Where am I?
One of the things about
you're in hell. That's where you are.
They're basically what if you did just people who were on the American dream but on steroids? It's that's what I think is very much an American thing, is that it's basically a bunch of people just hear, oh, you can do what you want, free enterprise, oh, really, really great, and then just take that to its logical extreme. And you end up...
Don't get me started on the American dream. It's the most chauvinistic shit you can get. It's pure, solidified chauvinism.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. It's also always been bullshit too. Just for the people that it's even for the people whose egos that it's stroking, namely white colonists, it's still always been bullshit.
I mean, maybe in the 50s, when it right after the World War II, you basically had a guaranteed job, and you could go back to a house and all that. But it was because it was one of the most intensified periods of American imperialism, of where in a way they were even extracting surplus from Western Europe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was when America first started to really ramp up its international empire. I mean, there was that was where it really started to build into the empire that it is. Or that was its peak of. I think peak is the best word, because obviously their imperial ambitions started. Just look at Cuba and Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Spanish-American War. Am I thinking that correctly?
Yeah. Oh yeah, just look at what all the land that was taken from Mexico.
The Mexican War as well. The U.S.-Mexican War as well.
Just so much shit. Even that, the fact that a lot of these areas speak Spanish too is another aspect of colonial. Spanish itself is a colonial language as well as English, French.
Yeah, that's right. Spain. I can't forget about that.
Yeah, it's interesting how living in a country that's a country that was colonized, but the colonizing force was once an empire and it has faded away. It's really interesting to see how the racial tensions they perpetuate themselves in a very different way. Because I lived in the States for 9 years and I come back here and the racism is completely different. It's really fascinating.
That's interesting. So how would you describe the racism in Chile compared to the U.S.?
You can't have that post-apartheid situation you have in the States, where because of economic stratification, you basically have continued segregation in the States. You sort of have you have ghettos and you have white communities. Right? You have the ghettos for black people, brown people, Asian people, indigenous people.
With there's a few white. Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then you have the historical white underclass, which is it's interesting, but then you're getting into some more nuances. I hope that I'm not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're definitely not.
I hope that if any of those are listening, I hope that they understand the place within the analysis. I'm not necessarily saying hey, you have it great, so shut up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that's not what you're saying. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not for policing. I'm not for policing how POC.
I mean, I'm fucking white. I'm in the Discord, the POC radical Discord, and I'm I don't fucking belong here. But that's another thing.
Okay.
I'm not.
I mean, I've told the admin like, hey man, I'm not necessarily the best person for this, and they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We like your takes. Regardless, in Chile, the only like post-apartheid thing you can't really have is the division between indigenous people and then the rest of the community, which within you still have like black immigrants. You have some of the Arab diaspora that was still in Spain after the fall of the Umayyad Caliphate. You have a lot of the immigration that you had from the Asian countries during the opioid epidemic in China.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of mixing within that, but you still have a separation from the indigenous community. But even still within, there's still a lot more mixture within communities, between the indigenous community and the historically white community. Not so much to the point where like that separation can be like completely done away with, to the point where like you can't tell who's a white person, who's an indigenous person anymore. You meet a lot of people like that. It's like, I don't know, like if you want to get fucking real like race realist Nazi shit, it's like, all right, are you a white person or an indigenous person? Like there's some people you just cannot like qualify with your shitty science.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah. But then the people who are very overt, they're still ghettoized. It's really interesting. And within how that plays out within the communities, that like you have your hard hitting like KKK racism, where it's like indigenous people, they're over there, and they that's their shit, and they're poor because they're weak, they're poor because they're lazy, they're poor because they're terrorists and all that shit. But then within the more unified society, you still have the some softer racism where like if someone says something that's kind of like not well thought out, they're like, oh, that's the Indian and you're talking, or something like that. Or if a black person, let's say they don't do too well on an exam, it's like, oh, it's all right, you're not supposed to be good at math or something like that.
It's funny how it's like racism in other places is almost pretty much the same, or like it's gets like exposed, or like it gets out there in much the same ways and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you see that there's a lot of I mean, when you look at racism in other places, you see a lot of similarities, but then you also see a lot of differences in nuances.
Right.
And I would say that there's definitely a problem with racism discourse on the internet, and that it's always centralized. It's always centralized around American racism, and
right, Eurocentric or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it somehow still manages to be.
That's mostly because like you're talking in English, right? And
right.
The race relations between Britain and the U.S. Well, there's a lot of like difference in the nuance, but in general, it's still the same. Because if you really look at it, England is a fucking like satellite of the U.S. empire. Like it kind of flip-flop, where it's like the colonies were a satellite of England. It flipped around. After the Second World War.
Yeah, it's England spawned the American Empire, and then America then took control of its parent empire.
Like one of the interesting things actually I wanted to bring up was like how differently English racism can sometimes manifest. I think it's often characterized a lot more by xenophobia rather than more
like a country with a history of slavery, but exporting rather than importing.
Yeah,
we're not exporting, but importing from the colonies, I suppose.
I will say that I speak mostly English. I understand a bit of Spanish and German, and could probably if I spent some time on like more Spanish speaking or German speaking Twitter, I could probably find different views. But I actually didn't even think about that. The fact that there is a bit of a language barrier too. That also means that English it kind of makes sense that a lot of English speaking discourse about racism is focused very heavily on U.S. racism, because U.S. and Britain have very similar styles of racism.
I want to also bring up another point that sometimes it's easy to forget. If I remember Ollie from Philosophy Tube mentioned that on one of his videos, maybe like the video he did about like African philosopher or the one African philosopher he focused on. If you, or like maybe it's an earlier video or something like that, if you own a computer, just a computer or something like that, so you're able to hook up to the internet, go to YouTube and stuff like that, you're in like the 10%, the top 10% of the population in the world. Not everyone has a computer and stuff like that, and so you're already in a way kind of a privilege in the privileged position.
I'm not a fan of that analysis, to be honest. I'm not a fan of that of the privilege analysis because like. Yeah. I think it's good for a rubric if you're like a social worker and you're trying to like work with stuff generally. But if you're trying to get to like the hard hitting like details, I think a lot of stuff is lost.
It's too it starts to become reductive.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I would say it becomes a reductive model when you start to as Red Chilean said.
When I was in the States, I went to I was organizing for a protest in the university I was at, and I went to the Black Student Union and we were trying to coordinate some stuff, and one of them was talking to a friend of mine who was Jewish but not Ashkenazi. He was very Arab, and she straight up said like you are white passing, and I'm like. You're out of your mind. Like I'm white passing, fair enough, but like this guy is brown.
Yeah.
There's no way, and I feel like a lot of those like misconceptions are like it's like maybe like shortcomings. Sure, maybe she didn't think about it like maybe it was just like a quick quippy thing that she didn't think through. But I think it's more likely like a systemic thing where it comes from your analysis, right? Like in the same way we say like. Hey, the problems that you see, like H-Bomb's recent video about control deletes, like, hey, the way that like art, comes out of this group of people, it can show endemic problems within that group of people.
Yeah,
the analysis that you come out with can show endemic problems within your logic.
Yeah, talking about Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which is that it's there was definitely a Lisa and the events in the room happened, but they definitely didn't happen the way that Tommy Wiseau wrote them.
Exactly. I mean, like Tommy Wiseau, the main character of The Room is kind of like a imperfect narrator or something like that, or incomplete narrator, where if you told that same story from any other
Tommy Wiseau was the actual director and also the actor.
Thank you for having me. I need to actually stop slacking and do work.
I know the feeling.
Oh yeah, do your work, you lazy commie.
Hey, I've been on a hangout with American Anarchists while I was at work as well, so I know the feeling.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, fucking. Oh, that's funny.
We're talking about Tommy Wiseau, and as the director of The Room.
Yeah. I think I actually haven't seen. I'm basically reducing H-Bomb's reduction of The Room. So I'm not even gonna pretend that this is first hand or even second hand. No, this is like just straight up fucking third or fourth hand, just like repeating. This is a game of telephone, but Tommy we know that. Which fucking I've actually been trying to see that movie. Because I've heard so much about the movie. Yeah. But basically you see that he wrote a movie about a guy who was perfect, whose girlfriend just suddenly starts cheating on him. Because because there's not a single guy in the world who thinks that he's the perfect guy when someone starts cheating, who's actually a very flawed person, who thinks that he's just the perfect guy when something goes wrong in the relationship.
Is that true? I didn't hit her. It's a lie. I didn't hit her. It's a lie. I did not.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I
only know the "Oh, hi, Mark" because of the meme.
Yeah,
I refuse to watch the movie, man. I know I'm gonna hate it. I don't have that kind of appreciation for like just
bad movies. Yeah,
bad movies. Yeah,
I have an
understand the
appreciation.
appeal, but it's not for me.
I have an appreciation for things that are so bad it's good. There's a reason I like the song "Rollin'" by Limp Bizkit.
keep rolling.
Now that you put it that way, I guess I do have an appreciation for bad media that's ironically good. I guess, like, you know, I'm a fan of several white bands. That's not fair.
I'm not offended, but I like how you said that.
Yeah,
Did you hear what I said afterwards?
You said it's not fair.
I said that that's not entirely fair. The Red Army Choir is actually fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of, funny enough, what Red Chilean brought up too about the whole white passing thing. I don't know why this is what stuck in my head, but yeah, that almost sounds like something that like my father would have been told in a similar situation, just because of the way you would describe your friend. Is, you know, some people might have said my father's white passing because my father's Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese,
dude, I'm telling you,
black.
This guy is like brown.
He's brown. Yeah, my father is my father has brown skin. I don't know how my mother is just, if it wasn't for my mother being as pale as she is, like, I basically look like the halfway point in between my mother and father, and I still turn into a lobster after 10 minutes of sun.
I burn in the sun too, yeah.
The sun doesn't fuck with me too much, thank God, because like in Chile the ozone layer is gone. But like my grandfather is like, he looks like a potato, right? Like he's got brown skin.
But yeah, that's
my dad, if you look at the wedding photos, he looks like a fucking vampire. Like his skin is whiter than bleach.
Yeah, that's basically that's basically like the comparison between me and my father, and then my mother looks like an even brighter shade of white.
Yeah, and my mom, I should, you know, my mom, I love her. I shouldn't just completely like, oh, you know, she has my grandfather's skin. It's just that my grandfather is, his skin is like, I think it's taking like a darker shade because as he grows older. My mom is less dark skinned. So, I mean, like this is pretty common in Latin America, where like a lot of people with dark skin kind of like they kind of hate themselves for it, and they like chase like the perfect white skin, and it's pretty fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah, there's even in like Black American communities, there's a bit of a thing where there's kind of like the be light skin, where be like for a lot of Black Americans, not all of them, it's probably not nearly as pervasive, but even then there's like actual like, if you actually look at a lot of it, you see a lot of Latino and Black communities in America where lighter skinned people in their families tend to be treated better than the darker skinned people in their families. Yeah, that colorism is a real thing. It definitely happens a lot.
I've been alluding to it, but I want to like actually, you know, put the claim on the ground. I think white passing is a shit term that's like Eurocentrist as fuck, or not even Eurocentrist, it's America centrist. Because like in America, like I was talking earlier, you have that very clear distinction between like, because like there was very very little mingling, and what there was, it was rape, right?
Yeah.
So in the States, like there's a very clear distinction between like, you know, a Black person and then a white person. Here in Chile, there it isn't. There's a lot more of a bigger mix, and this goes throughout Latin America. You still have like people who look white and like fucking white, but then within the larger population, you see a lot more of that mixing. So when you try, like when people like me go to the States and like we start hearing these terms about white passing, it's pretty like it just doesn't fit within our understanding of like ourselves or our community at all. And furthermore, like if you look at how indigenous people in the States were Americanized, quote unquote, yeah, and this thing that is painted as a privilege today, you see like a really big problem with it in the sense that like in order to Americanize indigenous people, they were basically tortured, right? Like there was a quote from an English pastor that worked in one of the Americanizing schools that said, "We're gonna kill the Indian to save the man." And like rape was extremely common in these schools. Like the way that the kids got to the schools, they were like they would round up the kids on a reservation, move them to another state, and then they would like live at the school, and like there was all sorts of abuse happening there. And essentially, the plan was when the kid comes out, he's gonna act like a white person, right? So when you put forward this analysis today of white passing, you have you're essentially attributing privilege to having like your ancestors being tortured.
Yeah.
So I think there's a big problem with that particular line of thought where like, oh, you look white, therefore you have privilege in today's America. You're kind of overlooking a lot of history.
I can see that.
There's like as I brought up, my father being, my father being part black, like he's not part black because a black person willingly, my father also is apparently part Native American too, that apparently is on both my mother and my father's side, just so fucking far back that there is no way that the person of color actually consented to what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the, so like to attribute any people, or to attribute like that kind of like privilege to essentially that the identity taken away can be quite offensive and even harmful. And I didn't necessarily always attribute it to the term white passing, but I would say that that definitely makes me think a bit more about the term white passing.
Yeah. Interesting conversation. I enjoyed it, though.
Enjoyed? Are you leaving or something?
No, I'm just stating that I'm not leaving. Maybe to go to the bathroom, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't have much to add.
I want to answer something in chat. Like, just a guy friend. Like, I lived in the States for 9 years. Like, I saw and experienced and suffered under American racism. And again, I'm not gonna say that I had it as bad as a black person in Compton, say, but like, I have a tangible idea. Like, unlike someone who had never been there, and I definitely empathize. And being a Marxist-Leninist, I would be happy to follow Newton with a shotgun, charging into a police station. But I don't portray me as like some as ignorant of what's actually happening there. I lived there. I lived in California, and like I have black friends who live there. Not to say that like, oh, I have black friends. I'm not racist. That's not my point at all. Saying I know what happens there. I know about like police shootings of innocent people. I know about I know about Flint. I know about like the historical racism, Jim Crow, and slavery. Like I got the whole deal, and so I'm not completely removed from the experience. I'm just trying to add another. I'm not trying to add something to the analysis where this idea of white passing is not necessarily. It's not necessarily like a liberatory analysis where like we need to get rid of this idea that like black people are bad. It's like yeah, we can do that. However, this term white passing is not helping with this other issue that you have with indigenous people, right? So here, if you wanna, if I'm gonna make this all nice and friendly, if you apply your intersectionality here, there is you have a contradiction. God, I'm trying not to go all tank here. You have a problem with the using white passing in order to analyze colorism, while ignoring a lot of the injustices that Native Americans suffered, right? So I'm saying like further the analysis. I'm not saying colorism doesn't exist because white passing is not a useful term. I'm saying white passing is not a useful term. We need to recontextualize the colorism in a way where it also fits within the indigenous analysis.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that.
So, Red Chillin, have you seen Infinity War yet?
I haven't, but I already had it spoiled.
Oh, okay. Well, the American Anarchist has not, so I'm again only fake spoilers. But I already mentioned like the orgy scene in the movie, and so yeah, just wanted to change the subject there because you cannot bring up the orgy scene in Infinity War often enough.
Man,
I say.
I'm a sex negative feminist, man. I already don't like the movie.
Oh, fucking. Oh. I still can't believe it took me as long as I did to actually watch Thor Ragnarok. It was,
man,
but it's such a good movie, right?
I guess I could just pirate it.
Yeah, you could.
I paid nothing to watch it. My mother paid $1 from Redbox.
Okay, so
that's not bad.
No, you can definitely do worse.
Man, see, like Redbox would never work here because people like once the movie is like on the internet, people are just gonna pirate it. You're not gonna like no one's gonna go rent the movie. It's probably why Blockbuster never did that well here.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Oh, Blockbuster did well here until it went out of business. You know.
And it was with Redbox. It was Redbox that killed it. It was Netflix kind of like.
Oh yeah, Redbox. You didn't even have to fucking actually talk to a person. You just you go up to a machine. You go up to a machine and pay $1.
You can see Redbox is like one of the earlier warnings of like automation. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
It serves as it's great that things are being automated, but at the same time, it's bad that workers are being completely disregarded in the automation. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
which is why
it's a problem. It's why we need to abolish capitalism.
Exactly. Like it's the same reason I think Trump is gonna, in the long term, is gonna be better than Hillary Clinton. Because like with Hillary, she's just gonna be bombing Syria. Nobody's gonna give a shit, right?
Yeah,
with
and
Trump,
that was gonna happen.
We're actually gonna be like, hey, like regardless to take on Assad, you shouldn't fucking bomb people. You're not helping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's kind of funny is at work on Thursday, one guy started to talk in very protectionistic terms about America, and is like, well, we need to stop, going and trying to help or stop going and, like he said helping, like in a way as in like he didn't necessarily believe it was helping, but I just kind of brought up, it's like, well, it's not help, it's invasions, and these invasions are giving oil companies their fucking money. Exactly. It's all got an ulterior motive. It's not for the benefit of the American citizen, and it's definitely not for the benefit of the guy who gets a bomb dropped on his head.
I'm excited. We disagree. Like, okay, I'm a third worldist, right? Like, this is absolutely to the benefit of the American citizen. That's like the really weird amalgamation of social democracy that's been implemented in the United States is through imperialism, right? Because like every single product that you buy in the States, every single car, every single guitar, computer, everything was subsidized by an exploitative wage and a hyper exploitative wage from the third world, right?
Yep.
Somewhere. And if that was to be cut out, quality of life in the United States would drop, like significantly.
We wouldn't have as easy access to all those like things and all those materials that we use to make all the things that we have right now. Even our computers are a lot of different things, and then it would just be like, there's a lot of things we wouldn't have easy access to, and then
I guess if I were to rephrase it,
allow me to say before people get a bad impression. I'm a third worldist. However, I should say fuck Unruhe. He's a piece of shit. I won't.
Well,
I want him dead.
I don't think Unruh actually even understands third worldism. Like
I would agree.
I don't know third worldism that well, but
I'm sure that I have my first time hearing it.
But I'm sure that I have a better understanding of third worldism than Unruh.
I mean, I don't know. Unruhe, I've read some stuff by Unruhe. It seems like pretty blah, but he's like actual like personal politics are fucking shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's transphobic as fuck too.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the whole anarcho-pact thing, but I mean, I guess if I were to word it more accurately, because I wouldn't even say that you're wrong on what you said, I would say that it's not mainly, or the American citizen definitely benefits from it, but they're not the intended.
They're not the main. Yeah, they're not the main benefactor.
They're not the main benefactor. It's to benefit corporations more than it's to benefit the average American citizen. The average American citizen.
The whole reason why it came to benefit Americans is because back in the Great Depression, the American labor movement was so strong that if that was to continue, it would topple the whole thing over, right? So there are certain small concessions that are given such that people like me can't actually organize over there. Because if you like go to someone and say, "Hey, I'm a Marxist-Leninist. I'm here to destroy the United States," no one's gonna join you. Not right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or like even then, like it's amazing how well the PSL and the WWP have managed to do in the States. I think that they're great parties and they've done a fantastic job.
I mean, even if you're an anarchist, it's somewhat hard to do it because ultimately most anarchists would also want to destroy the American system, and they'd like topple it, and it would be really hard to get somebody on board if you don't do a serious amount of propagandizing first.
Yeah, like I don't think. I mean, like being a third worldist, I just don't think it's possible, right? Like that's the final conclusion of third worldism. That like a revolution, if a revolution is going to happen in the first world, it would have to either be after or alongside revolutions in the third world.
Oh, I definitely. I mean, I don't know if it would necessarily make me a third worldist, but I've always been skeptical of the idea that you could start a revolution in the first world without the third world's involvement, and even then, you're more likely to get the third world revolting than you are to get the first world revolting, because the first world, even the underclass in the first world, tends to have a lot. They tend to have a better quality of life than someone who's in the third world who is in the underclass.
Just to answer your question, like my personal interpretation of third worldism is just: do you think that revolution is more likely to happen in the third world? If you agree, then you're a third worldist. But as far as the justification for it, I stem mine from Lenin's work of Imperialism, the Highest Stage of Capitalism. I think that the conclusion of that book is that, or essay, whatever you want to call it, is that revolution cannot happen in the imperial core. It has to happen in the third world first.
Okay. I love learning about these things because it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is also the reason why I've never told anybody that you shouldn't like read Lenin. I'll admit I haven't read much of Lenin. I think I read a bit of State and Revolution, but you know.
Hey, you should also read Stalin.
Should I?
I mean, I would actually say that you should. Just in general, you should understand the political philosophies around you.
Right.
Because even if you don't end up agreeing, or even if you end up,
I'm just gonna add H-bomb right now and say, hey, you should read Stalin.
I mean, even in like only on philosophy too, did read a right-wing philosopher.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've read I've read Rush Limbaugh, and I've even read Mein Kampf, which
exactly.
Kind of revealed to me how horrible Hitler was.
Yeah,
I mean, I read it making my own annotations.
The thing about Mein Kampf, man, is if you start reading it, it's really hard to get through for two reasons. One is that it's fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah,
it is horrible. But the second one is that it's really poorly written.
Oh yeah,
I've heard that too.
Oh yeah, it's like trying to read Ayn Rand, which I've also gone through the torture of reading.
Yeah,
Ayn Rand's a slightly less Ayn Rand's books are slightly less disgusting than Mein Kampf, but equally as poor writing.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately for me, it's because like I grew up with like mild cases of dyslexia and always had video games around me throughout my entire life. And ever since I had fingers, essentially, I kind of never became a fan of reading even the comic books that my dad had, like the 70s runs of like the Uncanny X-Men and stuff like that. He had a whole collection of them, but I never read them. I just look at the pictures. So that's why I kind of am not a comic book fan, just because of that. But also I it's only like recently in the past 3 years or 5 years or something, I've been picking up more books, and like some of them I haven't read. I mean, I got stacks of books I still need to read and stuff like that, because you see, I'm on the bus on the way to work, work or from work to home. And it's like, do I read Anarchism, ABC's Anarchism, or like The Conquest of Bread, or do I watch some YouTube videos or some Crunchyroll anime? And it's
you'd be surprised how easy. Like I used to read a lot of fiction. Sorry about that. A lot of fiction when I was a little kid, and then I stopped like after middle school.
Yeah.
But then when I like around my senior year, I started getting back into reading, and it wasn't fiction. It was actually political theory, and it was very different. It was a lot more captivating. I found. I think it might surprise you if you give it a bash.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I have to read some like recent nonfiction books, and like I really like Peter Coffin's book, Custom Reality and You.
I got some beef with Coffin, but that's another thing. I'll put it aside.
Okay.
I think I've actually seen the beef with Coffin before.
You seen it? You saw the Twitter thread?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure I did.
That's rough. I can elaborate, but sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, but also, okay. The other, some non-fiction books I just read in the past year. Also like Fire and Fury, the Michael Roth Trump book and stuff like that. The book which he profited off of Trump's presidency and stuff like that, like Michelle Wolf said at the dinner at the correspondence dinner. But no, that was a really interesting read, especially if like like some of the events that he's talking about, like the Muslim ban, or like he even towards the end of the book he touched on Charlottesville and Trump's responses. Kind of like, it's quite fascinating listening to all of the different accounts between like Steve Bannon, between Ivanka and Jared, the Ivanka coalition, and how every member of that administration basically have their own PR person. It's really interesting.
Know what I would kill for, actually? A book in a similar style to Fire and Fury, but of other administrations, right? Because like we know that Trump is horrible, and we know that some like funky shit going in the background. But I want to know what kind of machinations was going on behind like Obama when he like backed the coup in Honduras.
Oh yeah, because there was definitely a lot.
Like that'd be interesting, or like maybe Clinton or one of the Bushes during their respective wars. That'd be very interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean that style of like it is entertainment. I would take it as, because especially since Mike Roth did not really like cite anything at all, and he's flat out said, no, I'm telling a story and stuff like that. And so having that consistent style of writing for like most any recent president's administration it would be quite fascinating. I would like to read that as well.
I will say that conservative takes on Obama definitely make it a lot less fun to read.
I look. Give me materialism or give me death.
Give me materialism or give me death. give me socialism or give me death.
I mean, as far as the book goes, like the reason I haven't read Fire and Fury is because I would just get frustrated at the analysis, because I'd be like, this is black.
Yeah, I probably would too, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah,
I find that I have a much lower tolerance of liberals, as like I spend much more time on the internet.
That's fair.
Where it's like you've got to go all the fucking way.
Yeah, like I remember when I was like getting into like senior year of high school, I was like getting into Marxist-Leninism and whatnot, and I was like, look, man, we can talk to liberals, all right? If we just we just have to have a little patience, right? If I just explain to them what made me turn into a Marxist-Leninist, and I was like, give it a few more months, starting to reanalyze like why I came so far to the left. I was like, it's completely specific to the fact that like I'm the grandson of a person who was persecuted by the dictatorship. Like, what if I can tell this to a liberal, and like maybe they'll be like they'll sympathize with my experience, but there's no way that's gonna swing them left. Like,
it's not going to inform their decisions as much.
To who I was.
Yeah, like I can say that my experiences with the police probably informed my leftism like quite a bit, because I've actually like. It wasn't for being black, and it definitely wasn't on like the same level as like guys like Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin wasn't shot by a police officer, but guys like Eric Garner, for example. Michael Brown, Eric Garner. This wasn't I fucking But the thing is police don't handle autistic people well either. Like
I can understand that.
Police don't handle people well.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, but especially people who are even slightly different from like what they expect to be the norm, which is a straight neurotypical white person. Someone who acts differently than that, and maybe they're a bit more indignant and a bit more mouthy.
You should come to Chile, because the extent of radical leftists dealing with the police, the extent of it is either tear gas or a water hose being spraying you that has like acetone and like some sort of acid in it.
Oh wow. I've heard about that. That shit fucking I've got a lot of respect for
it's a lot of
radical
fun
leftists in Chile. I mean, the extent of my experience has been pepper spray and tasers. Tasers on more than one occasion too.
Yeah. I'm
lucky. It took multiple tasers to take me down too.
Shit, that's interesting. Wow. I don't know. It probably take me just one. I don't know, but it
takes most people just one. But if you have enough adrenaline pumping, it sometimes.
I can see that. Yeah. I'm just lucky that I'm lucky that I haven't had that much of interactions with the police, thankfully. But then again, that might change if I join any like protests and be on the side of like wherever the Antifa or the anti-fascist people are part of the.
Got into any problem with the police in the States. I mean, I was in a smaller town, I guess. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that in a smaller town you deal with them less.
Exactly.
For me, it was usually because I would have like some sort of like mental breakdown or some kind like. And a lot of it was over like really like shitty things like I grew up with a lot of my friends were either black or Puerto Rican. So they weren't always treated the best by the white people in the area. And I was always very confrontational, and when you're confrontational and the police tell you that you can't be, I'm like, well, why I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm fucking ripping this guy's head off.
Yep.
He called my friend the N-word, or he called my friend the S-word. I'm ripping his fucking head off.
Yep. I decided to change my hat just because I can.
I just got one hat. It's Lennon's hat, so it's pretty good.
I have like 30.
Actually, I want to touch back. Like if I can talk a little bit about like my beef with Coffin. Like,
go ahead.
Sure. If you don't mind, and I guess you know the extent. I think you would agree more with Coffin here. I don't know. We have a disagreement over like Chelsea running for election and whatnot.
Okay.
I think I'm frustrated where with a lot of YouTubers, from Contra to Sonia, like who are like very pro Chelsea. Where like for me,
I will say on the Chelsea thing, I probably will agree more with you.
That's nice.
I will just take my claim that I don't know Chelsea's politics enough to know that like where I stand on it and stuff like that. But like a friend of mine, Little Ano, she's cool. She's an anarchist too, and she had a problem with like her politics as well. She wasn't far left enough and stuff like that.
My ex, who still lives in the States, like when I was talking to her about it, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not a fan either." Like I think it just so happened that like a lot of the popular anarchists and lefties online just happen to be very pro Chelsea, because like I think it's a real schism within the radical left where like, hey, are we pro Chelsea or not? And it just lined up in a certain way. But Peter Coffin is definitely very, very pro Chelsea, and I was okay. Some context. Contra said, "Why are Marxist-Leninists against Chelsea?" And I was like, well, Marxist-Leninists in general are against like this kind of parliamentary game. We kind of just stick to our own, vote for our own parties, and try to get some level of recognition through that. Right. And then some just rather not vote at all. And if
I'm in the category of I'd rather not vote at all, or when I was dragged to the polls during this 2016 election, you vote or you write in vote for Vernon Supreme.
Well,
the guy with the shoe on his head who talks about having a pony-based economy.
Can we have a gulag-based economy? No, I'm just kidding. I need to cut the gulag jokes. They're not okay. moving on now. So when I responded to that contract, if I'm being like, if I may paint it my way, she kind of took me out of context where she was like, "Oh, you Marxist-Leninists don't vote at all. We're fucking doomed." And I was like, "Hey, please read my tweet again." I think you kind of took it out of context. She agreed because she took it down. But there was a bunch of people on my mentions, and I was like trying to keep it. I don't know, like if you see my Twitter, I have two settings, right? I'm either like trying to talk to people who I disagree with in like a calm, decent manner, or like with H-Bomb's last take, and I'm like, I'm fucking done. Like you're a piece of shit. Like this is peak chauvinism, all that.
I see. I actually tried to like follow your Twitter from your YouTube channel. I have subbed, by the way, but like according to Twitter right now, your account's suspended.
That's my old account. I haven't switched it. Okay. If you had an underscore between Red and Chilean, you should find me.
Okay,
I'll type it in the chat.
No problem.
Put an ad before that.
Yeah,
I got suspended for arguing with some people who thought that like slavery was pretty cool in Rhodesia, and I was like, it's actually like really not. And 4chan kind of jumped on my throat, and I tweeted at one of them like a 4-step process of how to tie a hangman's noose. I'll let you interpret what they meant. They got me kicked off for death threats. You know, it is what it is. It was a dumb tweet. I shouldn't have sent it.
That's what Bronx blogger got caught with saying that Holocaust deniers should be shot.
You know, I agree. Well, maybe not shot. Re-educated.
Yeah. They should be re-educated under a guillotine.
Yeah, little Arno, the friend
sure. Like David Duke, kill that guy.
Well, anyone that I think is, let's see, definitely. I don't know. I probably should be careful of like. I definitely don't like have any fond opinions. I'll say about people like David Duke. Fuck that guy. Richard Spencer. Fuck that guy. I think I can safely say fuck these people. That no, I don't want
the leaders. I take a similar position that China took when like with the opioid epidemic, how they dealt with it. Like if you were a big opioid dealer, you're dead. But if you're like a local guy, just like selling to like keep yourself afloat. You get here's a state given job and a house and all this shit. Get your shit together.
Rehabilitation. We should do that more in America.
Like if you're a leader of like a fascist group, you're dead. Get the line up. You're dead.
Yeah.
But if you're just a member, it's like, all right, man, you're gonna have to do some classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back to my explanation of the Peter affair, there was a bunch of people on my mentions, right? And I was trying to keep it calm and all that. And Peter is like the fact that you're a man and I don't remember. So if I'm strawmanning him, I'm sorry. I'm trying to go off memory. I'm not trying to do this on purpose. From what I remember, the extent of it was like you refuse to support Chelsea because she's a trans woman going into in a political space, and that makes you scared. I was dating not a trans woman, but a gender fluid person. So like, again, I'm not saying I'm not transphobic because I know trans people, but like I have a level of intimacy. I've had a level of intimacy with trans people. I've organized in a trans majority group in the past. Like I know the deal. I know it's tough, and I know that they have a pretty shitty life. Like and anarchists, like I'm sure you know much better than I. So like my issue with Chelsea is not that she man to woman. Am I remember correctly?
Yeah, she is a trans woman.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. She strikes me as she strikes me as genuine. I don't think she's lying, but I think that a lot of people are using her in an opportunistic way in order to channel a lot of support for a real radical project into just parliamentarism again, and a particularly weak one is that, not the one that's actually building any radical movement.
Right.
That's where like the psyop thing that like from the Marxist-Lenin is coming up. I'm not saying she's like a CIA plant in order to do this shit, right? I'm saying that like the people who kind of run the show, they're smart enough to identify that she has a lot of appeal from like a lot of people who are pretty fucking angry at them right now, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that they recognize that they can throw money at her, get a lot of this heat off their ass, and get a candidate that like, okay, she's gonna push some social democratic means, and maybe she'll be another of those voices in the Congress. It's like we shouldn't be bombing innocent people. Right. Like she's not gonna be the vote that's gonna stop the war in Syria.
Exactly.
Like, that's just not gonna happen. Like the Congress is very hegemonic in the imperialism.
Mm-hmm.
So if the extent of your anti-imperialism is voting for Chelsea, you're not doing much.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I will say I'm not like I'm not like super anti-Chelsea, but like again, I don't think that voting for her will really help anything, as you've pointed out, and I think that again, if all you do is vote for her, if that's the extent of your anti-imperialism, it's completely useless. And trying to go into parliamentarism or trying to go into parliamentarism and electoral politics into American electoral politics is not going to it's not going to solve the situation. It's going to keep everything in the status quo.
And I want to be very careful. Like I'm trying to like completely ignore the whole controversy with she was at some like Nazi event and she said she was just scouting it out. It's for me that's like that's a non sequitur. Like that doesn't mean anything. Like that's not my problem with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your problem with her is just her politics. It's just like she's more of a reformist.
It's not even her politics. I think her politics are like better than average. It's her context, right? Like she's not gonna change anything.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, that's really my issue with like Chelsea, is that she's not going to change anything. It's not that I think I don't even think she's a bad person. It's just I don't think she's going to change anything.
I think she's a very good person. Like what she did in the CIA is fantastic. I very much admire her for that.
We're exposing all those war crimes that the U.S. has been doing for like decades or something like that. Yeah, I haven't read up about that, but if that's what got her in jail, and if she did that, then yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Mm. But like, if we may use one of those Twitter memes with like those Democrats that say, "Oh, today's Karl Marx's birthday. If he was alive today, he'd be running in the Democrat Party." Well, let's say he was running in the Democrat Party. Then he would be useless. He would stop being Karl Marx, because Karl Marx. Yeah. Who is Karl Marx? He was a philosopher who developed these ideas. Right? If he was in the Democrat Party, he'd be another imperialist.
Yeah, actually, you know, I'm just remembering on Chrissy Witter's channel, she had like a happy hour with like a Tim Blake, the Motivated Opinion, instead of Kevin Logan. That makes that interesting is how they kind of went off topic towards the end, and like the last hour or so, they were just talking about U.S. politics and how come Obama did not like go after George W. Bush for the war crimes he was committing and stuff like that. Oh my God,
I wonder why. Maybe it's because he's a fucking war criminal.
Yeah, maybe it's because he's a war criminal in his own right.
But
maybe it's because he continued Bush's legacy.
Exactly. What was kind of illuminating about that was that something that's like I'm trying to paraphrase off of like the top of my head, but I do recommend people listen to that hangout in general or something like that if you can handle that. Is that it sounds like any president that comes into the White House under the system that we currently have, which sucks, it doesn't do any radical change to like the American foreign policy, because the State Department or Pentagon will inform them of like the entire history of America's involvement around the world and stuff like that. And it's not an easy change, so that the Pentagon and the State Department, all those kind of things, kind of shape the current president into informing them of what's happening around the world. And that's how the president never really changed what's happening around the world. It stays mostly the same, which is really unfortunate of our imperialism. And yeah, exactly right. I agree with you guys and how
we basically know that George Bush Jr. was tricked into going to war with Iraq. He was lied to. He genuinely believed that they had weapons of mass destruction. The CIA lied to him.
Yeah, exactly.
CIA lied to him. Cheney lied to him. Fucking everybody lied to Bush.
Poor Bush. What's a poor war criminal gonna do?
Yeah, and like it's to like Obama didn't. So and what's also very illuminating is that essentially, unless like the next president decides to like go after the previous president for being a war criminal, and yeah, Obama's himself a war criminal. It's never going to happen. But it would have been like political suicide for Obama to do that. He would just like lose so much favor with the American public of doing that or something or another. And after a certain time, if like Obama didn't try to try George W. Bush for war crimes, there's also nothing in the system constitutionally, if I remember correctly, to charge George W. Bush for the war crimes he did, or Obama, for example, or Clinton, for example, or there's like
so the nation. Who would have thought it?
Yeah. And so it was illuminating to me hearing that hangout, based on what I heard and something like that. And Christy Winters did mention that like she's going off the top of her head of constitutional law. She could have been wrong about some of those points, and then she would be happy to be corrected on things she said. That was illuminating to me because, wow, the system is not going to change because people inside the system are not interested in changing it. And so that's the problem with like Chelsea and Manning.
And even then, throwing a couple people into the system who are interested in changing it won't be enough to change the system. Yeah. The system has to be changed by outside forces. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be... The empire isn't going to be changed from within the empire. The empire is only ever going to be... the empire is only ever going to be changed by forces outside the empire that tear it down.
Yeah.
American anarchist goes full Maoist and third worldist.
Politics. Well, I'm getting drunk, so that'll be that. But I don't want to drink more of this mead because it's like this was 35. Hey, I can always buy.
Yes, Lexonymous. The hangout is open. If you want the link, shit, I have to go and recopy the
wait, hold up, maybe
hangout link.
Oh, I got it. I can't post it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because like
only the host of the chat can.
I had it saved on my copy paste. Can I write it here?
No, yeah. Red Chilean is really a Chilean. Yeah. Chilean. My apologies.
There you go. You got it.
Chile. My pronunciation is not that great because obviously I'm a fucking white ass motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm American, so I don't know shit about like a lot of the other people in other places and stuff like that.
Fucking German's another white language, and even I can't pronounce that properly.
I
can't even pronounce that properly.
I took a year and a half of German in high school, and the most the only parts I committed to memory was like, Guten Tag, ich heiße my Name is Jonathan Scott, ich heiße Summerland Geek, and ich spiele Galen. I made sure to commit to memory how to say I play video games in German. Now, of course, I can also like karaoke to like Rammstein as well, or Rammstein. Why did I pronounce it as Steen? God, I should know better.
Du hast mich.
And so I can at least do that. I even took a year and a half of French, and yeah, I don't remember much
about that. About the extent of my that's about the extent of my German, though, is like listening to Rammstein.
Man, if East Germany was still around, my father would have probably gone to the East Germany instead of the U.S. for his PhD. That's a sad thought.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
No, East Germany was one of the countries that took in the most amount of refugees from Chile after the dictatorship came around.
Interesting. Okay. Well, hey, there you go. Me, a dumb American, learning more about
also, if I remember correctly, wasn't Augusto Pinochet Pinochet backed by America?
Well, yeah, he was. Like if you look at how like changes in capitalism, how they come about. Oftentimes you see the third world being basically used as an experimentation ground, right? So like neoliberalism was basically tried in Chile and in Iran before it was applied to the first world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Lexon. Oh, okay, Lexon.
Lexonymous.
Yeah, I scared him off.
You scared him off by going full tank.
I mean, I'm close to calling myself an anarchist. You guys can convert me and stuff like that, or I'm totally.
This right here is more of an anomaly. We usually Marxist Leninist and anarchists usually don't get along. It's just me and anarchists have. I the other day, what was it, like a year and a half ago? You followed me on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey, heads up, I'm a fucking tanky," and you're like, "That's cool, tankies are comrades."
I did. That was at a time where, I was a bit. I will say I'm a bit more sectarian now, but I do try to not I don't try to treat them as like straight up opposition or anything like that.
Yeah, my beef with I've talked to Sonny about this too, actually, on Twitter DMs. But my beef with anarchism stems mostly from like in Chile, it's just unimplementable. Like without a state, the imperialism will run us over, and we will just be all fucking dead.
Oh yeah, I mean, Bad Mouse Productions. That's his point why he stopped calling himself an anarchist, because in the current world as it is, even if like a small section of whatever Catalonia or Java have like become full anarchists and have a full anarcho-syndicalism and anarcho-communism society and stuff like that, if that area of the world has like resources, people are going to come over and take over you with force if they want those resources, and so that's why it has to be done globally, or if at all. If I'm remembering correctly, because again, I'm not an anarchist, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Facts is here. Also, anarchist, like I don't want to just. I want to give you an answer to give you some space to answer. I don't know, just like, hey, take over all the whole fucking space.
I mean, I do think that, especially like. There is a point that anarchism is kind of unimplementable in like just one area. The only way it could even potentially work, which, you know, it's the way that it's to me what I think ultimately the goal of anarchism is to, like, you need everything. If you were going to implement anarchism, it would have to be global, basically near instantly. Like the revolution would have to happen everywhere all at once. Like it doesn't need to be necessarily implemented at the same time, but it would have to be within such a short space of time. It would have to be deeply international and global to actually be implemented.
Yeah.
If I may pick at your brain a little bit, then. How would you deal with issues like industrial sabotage or like counter-revolution happening?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Because like that's like, for me, like if you look at it historically, you know, from like Nicaragua to like Catalonia to Russia, you had this problem of there were subversive agents within the revolutionary project, and for me, like personally, it's like without a state to just be like, hey, you're sabotaging the industry, go to the fucking gulag. Like I just do not see it as implementable.
I mean, for me, that would actually be a hard one to answer because I'm gonna jokingly say that it'll make my mask slip. It'll make my sadist mask slip. No, you'd have to, you know, you would definitely have to have some way of containing like saboteurs of the revolution, whether that be a form of imprisonment, not necessarily like it doesn't have to be torture per se, but I mean to some extent sometimes
that's some Nazi shit. Why would we do that?
Oh yeah, we're totally Nazis when they put cats into a camp where they weren't even necessarily expected to, like, it wasn't even a work camp, it was just a camp for containment, and they were given like rights like talking to their families and stuff like that. I mean, that's Nazi shit.
A legitimate case for like forced labor, but I can talk about it later. Like I think forced labor is like significantly more humane than, like, for example, what the US does right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, what the U.S. does right now. Well, one thing is like the prison system is a privatized system, and it's like, no, oh God, you don't realize how horrible that is for the people in prison and stuff like that.
Literally, well, really, when you break it down, people who don't really care about it, who are like, oh, but like when you bring up the people in prison, really, the reason why they're like that is because ultimately. A lot of these people think that as soon as someone ends up in prison, they lose their right to prisonhood or their right to personhood.
Yeah, it's completely humanization.
It's yeah. You're now a hunter.
Yes, I have my Bloodborne hat.
Fuck, I still haven't gotten past I haven't even faced the Bloodstarved Beast in that game. Because I've only got like fucking 3 hours of gameplay under my belt in that game. It takes a lot longer for me to learn a Soulsborne game than 3 hours, or to like actually learn the patterns of a Soulsborne game to test.
Yeah, exactly. I've only like played like I don't know, like 5 or 10 hours or something like that, and I know that like the Bloodborne game as well as like the Dark Souls games and Demon Souls, they're good games. It's just I'm not good at them and stuff like that, which is why I have actually have just like started watching some Let's Plays of like someone who says this is how you get good at like Bloodborne and stuff like that. But I haven't like played it since after watching it. But hey, Luminex, I think we can hear you now, so try speaking and something like that.
Hello? I had a phone once. Oh, there it is.
Oh, hello?
Sorry, I lost my phone and I was looking for it.
Okay, yeah. Sunglasses person, Luminex, are you there?
Lexonomus.
I'm terrible at pronouncing things as well.
No, it's some random geek. You got the rose in your name. That's a curse right there, man. On Twitter.
Wait, what? The rose in... What?
The Democratic Socialist rose in tanky Twitter. That's a bad sign usually.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I just randomly put that rose in there. The paperclip is part of like the pins, and then the snowflakes was because like I imported the custom with the snowflakes.
My Twitter doesn't have all the emojis. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's weird. But I can easily edit that out. I didn't know what that rose stands for, so.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the Democratic Socialists put it on there. The rose is a symbol of the Democratic Socialism.
Oh, actually, anarchists make jokes about democratic socialism and the rose all the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
we bash on you together. We have the trifecta of left sectarianism. We have Democratic Socialists, anarchists, and tankies.
But we can seem to get along somewhat. Is it like that? Oh, and so see, it is possible.
I mean, it's possible, but like. It's possible, like, unless we're actually trying to work together at a revolution.
Exactly. And to be fair, I'll be honest. Reason why I haven't like adopted the label of anarchist in myself is because if someone puts that on me, I don't mind because I kind of like those ideas. But I will agree that like if America or the world as one whole somehow fully adopts like a democratic socialist thing where it's like the mixed economy of like part socialist, part capitalist and stuff like that, I would think that'll be infinitely better than what we or a lot better than what we have now today. But I probably myself will be satisfied with that. My only problem with like if it stays at like democratic socialism and stuff like that with the capitalist part in there, I would be afraid that the capitalists would try to take power or gain power or grow power and then just like reform back to what it is now, which is
now you're thinking like a Leninist.
I guess so. I haven't read Lenin, so I don't. That's why I don't know like the full terminologies or why I don't know what people think.
I'm now surrounded by tankies.
I hear some echo.
I'm sorry. I'm changing my mind in mid time as we get an echo from American Anarchists and American Anarchists Double Danger.
I see what happened.
Nadar, I got a question in chat. I just want to answer. Sure. I don't dislike Venezuela. I have critiques, but I definitely support them because it's clearly a country that's being aggressed by imperialism, and the people clearly support the government.
I think for like. I like there are definitely some situations where it says like I don't know enough to know if like where I fall on like Israel and Palestine. I'm going to side with the people. I'm just going to side with the general people, the common people, pretty much.
Okay,
Israel is an apartheid state.
Here's where I scare people, right? Okay, so
done again.
There's a problem with that. There's not a problem with the logic. It's just a problem with how people usually apply it. When the missiles fell in Syria, all of tanky Twitter was like, "We fucking told you this would happen. where the fuck were you, essentially? And we in response we got a lot of things which like we support the people, we don't support Assad. Here's our response: the people support Assad. All right. If you think that the people are somehow brainwashed or they're somehow Assad is some sort of like Hitlerite dictator that controls everything, well, let's look to the country next to them. Assad was so popular that he swung the election in Lebanon. Does he control Lebanon as well? I don't know. You can go to Egypt. There are pro-Assad demonstrations in Egypt, which is a very, very violent country if you're trying to oppose the narrative of the government. You have pro-Assad demonstrations in Iraq, which, although is very, it's a lot easier there because the people there are a lot more hostile to the United States for obvious reasons. However, the government is still very friendly to the United States. So,
yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah,
I definitely think that the U.S. shouldn't be involved at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the baseline. If you don't agree with that, you're like not even worth talking to.
Yeah.
My grievance with the American left in particular is that if you want to be building an anti-imperialist movement, you need to deal with the lies, the slander, and the contradictions within the imperialist narrative, right?
Yeah.
And Assad is at the core of that right now. That's my argument for why you support it or not. Like, call it what you will. Like, this is why I support Assad, because the people support Assad, and Assad is being a target of U.S. propaganda in order to legitimize the war on the country. And if you want to deal with the war on the country, you need to deal with the propaganda.
Oh yeah. I have Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky and the Eric Herman. I haven't read it yet, but I read bits about that. But yeah, I definitely agree because the U.S. media just sucks at like informing us of like world events. We only know about.
They do a very good job. They do a very good job of what they want to do.
Yes, what they want to do exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, saying that they suck would also imply that they actually wanted to inform us and not that they just wanted to, and not that they just wanted to, like, keep us uninformed. Because really, it's not that they suck at keeping us informed, it's that they're very good at misinforming.
Yeah.
Which is their goal. And I mean, I try not to, like, I don't really support Assad. But I'm not like I try not to let the American narrative. I don't let
neither Washington nor Assad guys, because you know what that entails.
Yeah, like I don't want to I don't want my opinion of Assad though to be informed by American media either.
See, you know what? I'm happy with that. That's a good take.
Yeah,
I mean that. There may be problems with Assad, but the problem is I'm in a position where I don't have the information to make a critique of Assad. Or to make a critique of Assad that wasn't just chauvinistic and that wasn't just chauvinistic trash.
See, I guess you're why I stick up for anarchists and like Marxist places. I'm like, dude, man, there's some good ones. Let me tell you, there's some good ones.
I mean, so that's really, I would say that any criticisms of Assad would have to come from people who actually live in Syria, from people who, from people in the surrounding areas who actually aren't removed from it. But I'm too far removed to make any kind of criticisms of Assad because I really don't know what's true and what's not.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'm not there.
That's my issue with like commenting on that situation as well. It's just like I'm in my position as well. I'm so far removed from that I wouldn't know where to start.
Next keeps joining and leaving. That's unfortunate.
It's probably like technical difficulties. I think I heard them briefly right there, but like something caused them to like lose connection or something like that. Hopefully they will join back as soon as they can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to have to end the stream in like 10 minutes because I have work tomorrow early in the morning. I gotta go fucking... I gotta go hurt my back some more, not allow my leg muscles to recover.
Yeah. But no, this is but hey, thank you, American Anarchist, for like hosting this stream, just chat. It's fun chatting with you as always.
Thank you for coming. I really I enjoy having my subscribers in chats. Even if I don't necessarily agree with them, it's it's fun to have people who are watching the chat like actually interacting with me. Yeah. That's like one of those things like where I said that I always want it to feel like it's not like I don't try and frame it as my channel. I like to think of it as a bit of a collective project. I love when my subscribers actually get involved in like informing me or get involved in managing the channel.
Oh man, anyone in the chat, if you follow my Twitter, be prepared for some shit you might not like. Let me just tell you right now.
Well, hey, I used to follow, in some cases I still do, so follow some like right-wing people. And
I follow.
No, that's not nice.
I follow some like I follow like pretty much everybody on Twitter from like conservative. I don't follow Nazis. Like Groypers are blocked on site, but fucking. But like
I follow on Twitter is this one funny Irish nationalist guy. But recently I've just been like, man, turns out they're fucking transphobe, and I'm just like, man, I fucking hate you now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If I see anything like that, it's like, why bother talking to this person? Mute them or block them and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, some of it's just, for me at least, some of it's just kind of like lurking. Like I just I just am looking at the tweets. But I mean, I follow like quite a few tankies on Twitter because sometimes they have takes that I even agree with about like liberals and stuff. I don't necessarily jump into threads when I like disagree with them because I'm not someone who's looking to argue with tankies. I'm much more likely to jump in and argue with a conservative than I am to argue with a tanky, because ultimately I think conservatives and liberals have, or I ultimately think that they tend to have much more views that definitely need to be confronted.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes on my Facebook, I'm like, oh, that's that guy who who was in high school and we were cool and stuff like that. Oh, he is expressing TredCon conservative views.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
Do I want to talk to this person about like there's nothing wrong with that bathroom sign? Ignore it. It doesn't bother you. Why make it a deal? But then he come onto my Facebook post and said that socialism doesn't work, and it's like, nope, fuck this. I'm going to debate him on this issue right here, right now. He's on my Facebook wall. I'm not going to let this settle.
Man, see, the thing is, if I was to argue with my family over socialism, I would get banned from Facebook.
Oh yeah, I don't argue with my family over socialism. In fact, on my on the account on Facebook that I have that I use, most of my family's blocked.
I blocked my younger brother's Twitter, or muted my younger brother's Twitter, because I decided to actually talk to him about his position of Sargon sitting in the front row of the Anita's panel, and I made my piece and my position known that Sargon's a fucking asshole and a harasser and stuff like that. But I blocked him so that I will only see his responses if I decide to go into my mentions or go back to my younger brother's own Twitter profile. And I occasionally check in on him. Most of the times he seems not to actually say anything that much, and the last time I talked to him on Twitter was like when he said, I'm a gamer, so I disagree with Donald Trump's position 100% on violent video games that may have caused the Parkland shooter and stuff like that. And I go,
what's funny is that I'm not a gamer gator, but I do think that the idea that just violent video games caused the Parkland shooter is quite ridiculous. Just every study that has ever been done on how violent video games affect the brain, they found that like boosts in violence, even like boosts in like violent behavior and violent thoughts that might come from video games are generally temporary.
Yeah,
that they're not really
the critique of like violence in video games from what I like from groups from like people like Anita Sarkeesian to all the way to like radical leftist groups. It tends a lot to focus a lot more on the community rather than the actual content.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah, that's where I would say that like that's where my criticism of violent video games would be. My criticism isn't that it causes mass shootings. Oh yeah, this kid played Call of Duty. You know, no wonder he became no wonder he went and shot up his school. Like, no, that would be deflecting the problem.
Exactly.
But you know, there's definitely like forms of violence that are glorified that shouldn't be in a lot of these video games. You know.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's a lot more likely that a violent imperialist chauvinistic culture produces violent imperialist chauvinistic video games rather than the other way around.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
and by a lot more likely, it is that way. You fucking idealist.
Yeah.
I would actually agree. I would quite heavily agree that you know, that it's really the culture that produces the video games as opposed to the video games. I would say that the video games can reinforce aspects of culture, but the culture ultimately created it, and the culture is what needs to be addressed.
I mean, media does that anyway. It's almost impossible to prove that media can actually cause someone to act in a certain way. It's sort of possible for media to cause someone to think in a certain way, but it's much easier for media to reinforce existing thoughts that person already has. And so you can't get media cannot get someone to vote. Media can possibly get someone to think about voting, but more likely, media can most certainly get someone to feel good about thinking about voting. So it's that far removed.
Media can't make an entitled white kid go and shoot up his school. But an entitled white kid,
very much so.
Yeah,
white supremacy can. You know, an entitled white kid who's basically been fed all these lies from a chauvinistic imperialistic culture, who is now given, or you know, who's had thoughts of going and shooting up a place because of his frustration, because he believes that he's entitled to everything.
Yeah, it's not just the video games. It is the entire culture under which the U.S. like exists underneath, right?
Yeah,
with the entire male supremacy, white supremacy, like European like supremacy, all the narrative of exclusion that exists within the United States is you can see it be displayed not just in the video game. Like, okay, here. The often people say that the video game leads to the mass shooting, when in reality they are both a display of the same problem. They're both symptoms.
Yeah, I agree. They're both systems of systematic problems.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to say a couple of things from the chat. Just a guy. I'm a horror fan. So conservatives went after horror comic books in the 1950s, saying the same thing as Trump and violence in video games things right now. I do agree with that. Just a guy also said, media wouldn't be so violent if America wasn't so warmongering and genuistic and patriotic, etc. White cis male rage, etc. and stuff like that. In America, has been tracing violence depicted in horror movies, comic books, and animation, etc. since forever. And it's like I agree with everyone's been saying. It's like that. Oh yeah, you're not tracing violence depicted in horror movies, comic books, and animation, etc. since forever. And it's like I agree with everyone's been saying. It's like that. Oh yeah, you're not tracing violence depicted in horror movies, comic books, and animation, etc. since forever. And it's like
okay, so looks like we might have another person in the chat, and it'll be extended by 15 minutes.
It's only up to you if you want that, but yeah, then if like Nexus audio it goes well. It sounded like they were just like had the YouTube video. Oh, okay.
Well, we got somebody else.
Someone else. Hello.
Hello.
Miguel.
Okay, so I can call you Miguel. It says Miguel on there. I didn't want to dox you or anything.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hello.
I don't know. Haven't you been? You said that you heard video game talk and wanted in.
Yes, I'm a gamer myself, and I always like to look at.
Oh, I'm sorry. That means I gotta
culture
kill you in the revolution.
Game, yeah, gamer in echo quotes.
Oh my god, video games, the one medium that we all love, but oh boy, does
Video games are the opium to the masses.
Opium. And here I was thinking it was television.
Television.
I thought it was religion.
Hot take. Television is video games you don't play.
I mean, to be fair, would you really want to play that?
It's uninteractive. It's uninteractive video games.
When is Total Biscuit gonna call television not games?
I mean, to be fair, there already are games that are like barely interactive, like visual novels.
Gone Home.
I actually do play a lot of visual novels, actually.
Same. I mean, I'm recently playing Trigger Happy Havoc on my
Doesn't matter,
Vita.
we're burning them all.
I should get back to like playing like Lady Killer in the Bind. That's a really interesting game.
Oh,
ironically, I was getting back into Darkest Dungeon, and that game's really fun.
Oh,
I'm just for the
yes,
PC. Ball crushing.
oh my gosh.
Fucking. Oh yeah. Also, something I don't know if I said it earlier, but fucking random or geek, you said that you're not good at Dark Souls or the Souls games. It's okay if Darkside Phil can do it. Anybody can do it.
Okay, I don't know who Darkside Phil is.
He's the worst. He's the worst. He's the worst at every game ever. Like, you know, but I don't know if he actually thinks he's good or if he just shit talks that he's like really good, but like he's someone who's obviously bad at playing video games, but actually plays through all video games through completion, and he actually did it with Dark Souls. He actually played through Dark Souls and beat it.
I see.
Sorry, Megan, go ahead.
I mean, I'm a completionist at heart when it comes to gaming, but I don't think I would want to be completing Dark Souls 100%. Maybe it's just me.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm going to be a completionist nowadays because I have over like in total about like 1,100 video games. Thank you, Steam, and your damn sales. And so, yeah, exactly.
I bet you don't even play most of them. I mean, a lot of the Steam sales are kind of like fucking scams because they convince you to buy games you wouldn't like for a reduced price that you probably wouldn't have bought at all.
Oh, like, yeah. I mean, it's like
on
extra
Steam.
credits.
Yeah, on like Steam, I would only ever actually buy like games that like I was looking for beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, like on Steam, I mean, Extra Credits, the YouTube channel. Who I have some disagreements in the past and before, or something like that. But I think overall, they're still an excellent channel.
But I generally like their channel.
But yeah, I generally like their channel still. They did a great video on the anchor effect and how it's like, oh, if this game, and that's kind of like exposes like some of the things about like marketing and advertisement and capitalism and stuff like that. Oh, this thing is $20, but now it's like $10 or $5.
I'm sorry, I want to react to something that happened in chat.
Sure.
Ari B says that Michael Knowles is justifying misgendering trans people on some PragerU video. So like. Here, I want. This is what Marxist Leninists mean when we say that gulags build themselves.
Okay,
I can definitely say guillotines build themselves here.
Yeah.
What are you, a fucking liberal? It's for the history.
No, I just really like public executions.
No,
it's the only way I can get off anymore.
Wow. Sorry, sex negativism in here, man. I can't laugh at that one.
This is Rose's version of Videodrome.
I still didn't see that movie. This is why I say on my channel I'm a sometimes movie geek and not that big of a movie geek, because like I think of like what the amount of movies that Movie Bob has sees and can like pull out of his ass of like referencing. I have nowhere near that the catalog knowledge of movies and stuff like that. So Videodrome, I know of Videodrome, and I love some of David Cronenberg's other movies, like A History of Violence. I thought was really good. I still need to see like a lot of his movies, like Brood or Videodrome or like The Fly and stuff like that.
Oh, you definitely should. I mean, I've always liked Cronenberg's approach to movies. He has a rather unique aesthetic to his work, and he always has some interesting things to say. I mean, one of the movies that I saw a long time ago from him was Existence, and in a way, I saw it as a critique of like gaming. I mean, probably one of the more negative views that I probably have on Cronenberg is that he comes off as a bit of a Luddite, but at the same time, I could kind of see that Cronenberg. It seems to be very skeptical of modernity, especially attempting to lose yourself.
Modernity is good. Fight me.
I mean, hey, to each their own. But
are you? I'm sorry. Marxism is correct. You can't. There's no arguing with this.
Marxism was a mistake.
Oh wow.
Shit! We got Left Book in here.
Blood sports.
Fuck Left Book. Don't put that on me.
No. I'm sure. I'm sure Red is a lot more coherent than Left Book. Left Book is what happens.
Red Chilean is more coherent than Left Book.
I think Unruhe is more coherent than fucking Left Book.
Actually, I would have to say I agree, and I fucking hate Unruhe.
Left Book is what happens when you're so middle class and you have nothing else going on for your life. I mean,
man,
look,
go on Twitter and follow all the third world Marxist-Leninists. Just do that. We're great. I promise. We're so nice. We're not gonna yell at you.
I mean, I'm sympathetic to Marxism, but a lot of Marxists I meet I don't really like, especially when they're not very. They don't really try to explain things. They're more interested in describing the situation. They kind of remind me
like it's frustrating to like when like on Twitter you're like, oh, can you explain the dictatorship of the proletariat? It's like, man, I only got 280 characters. Like there's a reason.
Oh
this
yeah,
is
and we didn't have
book.
And for the longest time, we only had 140 characters.
Yeah, so like it's not an easy thing. Like
I'm someone who, if I wanted the dictatorship of the proletariat explained to me, I would ask to like DM conversation instead.
Yeah. No, yeah, like like if anyone here like say, are you interested in Marxist-Leninist? Hit me up on the DMs. I'll answer some questions.
Okay.
I don't like Twitter or tweeting or anything. Personally, I'm very old school. I like to just like read things, essays and journals and books.
Yeah, read or use them, and they're great. They're so legible. Stalin is a great writer.
Oh my! Every time I think of Stalin, oh my god! Every time I think of Stalin, I think of memes at this point because Left Book.
You also have that image nowadays where it's like "shut the fuck up, liberal," which is a great meme.
Does anybody like liberals?
Okay, one of my favorite Stalin memes has to be the one. This is one that I saw from my friend Chip. He on Discord. He just fucking. It was Stalin, and it says. So the Stalin was representing the guy in the meme. It says me, or no, it says Bay. Oh crap! No, I can't remember which order it was, but it goes, no, Bay, come over. My parents aren't home. Me.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Me or no, I can't right now. Sending people to Gulag or something like that, and then it's like, or no, it's like, babe,
There's
come over right now.
Brain. Me,
or no, it's like me. I'm sending people to Gulag right now, and then it says, but my parents aren't home, and he says, I know.
that's what you get for burning grain. These people fucking starving. Don't do that shit.
But although this one was a non-Stalin meme, but this one was also funny. Was said or it was Bay come over and then he's like, I can't right now. I'm having a threesome with an older couple, but my parents aren't home. I know.
Self-crit.
Self-crit or ban. This is Left Book now.
Self-crit or ban is a good motto. Left Book misuses it. As in, like, what they're asking people to self-criticize is not criticism because you're perpetuating shitty ideas.
Interesting.
To clarify for those who don't know, self-criticism is a method of criticizing, like, within a Marxist-Leninist party that was outlined by Mao, and it's essentially an agreed upon way where, like, if there's a problem with a certain comrade, you're like, hey, here's my criticism. I would like you to go self-crit, essentially ponder on what I said, and so that, like, this doesn't turn into a shouting match. Is the idea? So you have a certain discipline in order to deal with issues within the party.
Pedro, Miguel's telling you to let it all out, release the anarchy within.
And Luminex wants to just advertise my Marx meme, which references the movie Pink Flamingos.
I mean, like, straight up, if Miguel wants, I mean, I don't know, Anarchist said he had to go not too long, but, like, if Miguel wants to have a back and forth, I'm happy to.
Oh, I think Pedro was kind of joking, but Miguel, are you still there?
Seems that their mic is muted again. I mean, all right, there once again, superior Marxist ideology defeats the naive anarchy.
I'm just sitting here listening and just like nodding along and like thank you for like describing what self-crit actually meant because I did not know and I don't know about like Left Book either. I'm just nodding along. It's like okay, I'll just like Google it later.
Trust me, don't even take the time to learn about Left Book. It's all shit.
Fair enough.
This is coming from someone who actually read Mein Kampf. It's not worth. Not worth looking into Left Book.
All right. So if you want a good takedown of Left Book, Tom Avella has a good video on it. Just scrap everything where he like attributes it to like general Marxist ideology because like it's like no, this is a problem within Left Book. Like this is don't ascribe this to everybody. All right, you got your left people, we got our Left Book. Chill.
Yeah, and now I think I know what you're talking about because I think I did see that Tom Avella video about like Facebook.
Left Book was a mistake. That was the name of the video.
I love Tom Avella's videos. I should like watch more of their videos.
On his Q&A, he had a pretty bad take, which fair enough. Everybody has to watch bad takes every once in a while, but it really stuck with me. He said that Cuba would be better off if they went to neoliberalism, and I was like, nah, give me your Beatles number, man, because it's got to have some good shit.
Yeah,
I would disagree with Tom.
Yeah,
like I'm not, you know.
I don't know that much, but I know that like I don't think neoliberalism would like help Cuba at all. I mean, at least Cuba got like universal healthcare. That's something we still don't have in America.
Something that Cuba has that we don't. Fucking trans people can actually transition completely for free.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not that like everything that Cuba does is awesome,
and we
at least
barely
everything Cuba does is awesome. Unironically, like I'm serious. Like Cuba has made like nearly no mistakes recently.
Yeah, recently, yeah. I would.
Like if you look into the history of like homophobia, yeah, very much agreed. But like, what other?
I mean, in America, we've still got like, we barely got anything in the way of gay rights. While in Cuba, you can actually transition, or you can actually transition and not have to pay for it. It's paid for by the state, which is a lot better than, the situation in America where you have to have millions of dollars.
Ultimate critique of your anarchism. Without the state, who's gonna pay for your surgery?
I'm going to anesthetize I'm going to use a local anesthetic to give myself breast implants.
That sounds so scary.
I hope you know what you're doing when you're doing that. Maybe learn it on YouTube or something like that.
I'm just watching a YouTube I'm watching a YouTube video on how to like properly cut into breast tissue with a scalpel. So that I can.
But you don't actually have a scalpel, so you're trying to wing it with like
with a steak knife. With a stick. No, like with a steak knife, even just a steak knife is sharper and slightly more common.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Oh, bonus points if it's a rusty steak knife.
Did you sterilize the rusty steak knife at least?
Yeah, I sterilized all of its I sterilized all the tetanus.
Just dip it in the local river. It should be fine.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go soon. So, like, any last words?
Any last words? Song in the Korean people.
Any last words before I shoot you all? No.
All right.
Any last words before I end the call?
Yes. Long live the new flesh.
I didn't hear him, but whatever.
Long live the new flesh is what he said, or they said.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's a reference to like a Videodrome or something like that, a movie.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
No, long live the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Okay. I could like say something that
I'm some random geek and I'm drunk.
That's
Subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at some random geek.
Yes.
Subscribe to me on YouTube at Retcheland, but I'm probably not gonna upload anything because I'm fucking busy.
I have my opinions on Richard the Dick Coughlin, but but I haven't said anything on here, and I'll leave it like that.
I will say I have opinions on Richard or on Dick Coughlin that his behavior of his behavior has definitely been creepy.
Yeah, I agree. That's
I don't really want to kick that hornet's nest right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you don't want it to be done on your platform, I respect that, but I made myself clear anyways in other places.
Okay, yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, so thank you for everybody who came to watch and everybody who came to join.
Mm-hmm.
See you all in the next stream, which, I might do a stream tomorrow or Tuesday.
Moderate a debate between me and Miguel. Let's do it.
I mean, only if Miguel wants to do it.
If he wants to do it, I'm down.
He isn't always, or his availability isn't always the best.
Yeah, I work.
Actually, that could be a problem. Whatever.
We can talk about this. All right. Thanks for being on. All right. So I'm going to end the broadcast now.
Even though you're a bunch of liberals.
Everyone who isn't me is a liberal.